boys will really step up to the big stage. They'll really enjoy it. Of course, we see Daniel King just waltzing around in the middle of the ground, Chandler medalist last year. Big Grattan Stevens in the middle as well, Nick Molnar. So they'll be ready to go. These are big name players on the stage, but the Blackburn Football Club is a side that everybody's excited to see. Everybody wants to know what they can deliver this year. They've started the season off very well, and all set for the big stage here, Damo.
Yes, indeed. We're just about ready. Round 3 action from Moreton Park. Players now taking up their key positions as we're set to get underway. As BWS mentioned, a huge crowd coming forward, and I'll tell you what, they are set for the big occasion. Beautiful weather glistens across Moreton Park as the umpire sets the ball aloft. It's Anzac Day footy from Moreton Park. Blackburn hosting South Croydon. As we get underway, the tap one in the end by Stevens for South Croydon. It falls to ground level. It's picked up there by Molnar. He's heavily claimed. A couple of Blackburn players, including McFarlane, apply the tackle and will have a secondary bounce. Of course, as I mentioned, both sides coming into today's game with 1 win and 1 loss. It'll be interesting to see who can gain themselves above parity in Division 1. It'll be very important as we get underway. Free kick has been picked out by the umpire. It's going to Blackburn, and Hatton's the recipient. Gives the hand pass off. Quick kick towards half-forward, and a big spoil applied there for the Bulldogs by Eddie. And he'll see it over the boundary line. A bit of rough stuff, which is good to see. A lot of enthusiasm. We'll have a throw in 60 metres around from the Blackburn goal.
So the umpire brings the ball back in. Grattan Stevens started from the back spot. Blackburn might have the numbers here, picked up there by King. He might have a player out wide. Couldn't quite find him there. Ball bouncing along the wing position. Blackburn. They had Matthews there for a handball support coming in through there. That time was Clay. Get the little handball across. They're going backwards to go forwards. Now linking up through Hatton in the middle of the ground. The kick goes up towards the half-forward line. O'Farrell takes all drop what he probably should have taken. The umpire paid it, but he said it was play on. And we'll come in, and the non-officiating umpire this time will pay a high tackle. So getting away with it a little bit there. Switching the play. Blackburn now will reload. Faulkner danced around a little bit, backwards to go forwards again, creating a lead. There is Otten, who's all alone on the wing position. Small ground out here at Moreton Park on the left boot. It was a skew left kick, but finds Sam Banfield. He loads up now on the left boot. It's another scrappy kick in towards the forward pocket. Going after it, there was Hammond, couldn't quite trap the football. He'll go after it again. Curtis came in, the big football, got the handball backwards. The kick goes to the top of the square, bouncing football, and over the boundary line, and she goes for a boundary throw in. Left forward pocket. Blackburn Zen yet to score here on the Bendigo Bank scoreboard. We've crossed the 2-minute mark.
Blackburn are really prepared to share the ball around here and start to spread very early on.
So the umpire threw it in over the top of all players there. Banfield scrambled a kick to the top of the goal square, standing strong and taking a very good mark was Will Debney.
So Debney with possession right on the last line of defence. He looks out wide to the outer side of the ground, finds his teammate in Mulder. He goes along the boundary line, hard up against it, trying to find Hughes on the lead, who's led well up the ground. It'll be a throw in as the ball eludes him. Centre half back, or on the half back flank for South Croydon. Blackburn have done the bulk of the attacking thus far, as we're in the early minutes of this first term. Stevens won the tap from behind. A big tackle applied there by Mulder, but the umpire adjudged it to be high, so it'll be a Blackburn free. About 60 metres around from their goal. The long kick will come forward. The kick was smothered in the end though by Mulder on the mark. Almost a cardinal sin. The Bulldogs can apply themselves on the rebound here in attack. The quick kick comes from Mallison towards half forward. And the mark dropped there out wide by Donnell, and eventually the umpire comes in to officiate, and it'll be a ball in on the half forward flank for South Croydon. Let's quickly go boundary side next to Akira Urgent Care. Take a look at the conditions. Georgina Cahill and Elise Mulvogue.
G'day Damo, perfect conditions down here for footy, just a touch over 19 degrees at Moreton Park today, so looking to get some good scores on the board.
Absolutely. You couldn't ask for a better seat in the house, you girls down there on the interchange bench. Taking a look at each side, it's fantastic, both conditions and the crowd today, providing a good atmosphere as we have the ball in. Half-forward flank here for the Bulldogs. Tap one at the back there by Eagle. Chance here on the rebound for Blackburn as they clear from defence. The kick comes eventually from Ward towards the outer side. Big leap at the back, not taken. And the tackle is applied there for South Croydon by the looks of it from Donnell, and the umpire waiting, and the judge is holding the ball. So it'll be a South Croydon free kick.
A couple of interesting moves there. James Crow playing on Ben Fraser. Good match up there.
So Molnar chips it towards centre half forward and finds his intended target in Mallison, and he can go back and have a shot 40 metres out from directly in front. Good ball movement there for the Bulldogs, Dan.
Yeah, certainly, but just looking at that midfield battle at the moment, Donnell is playing on Kyle Matthews, so he's got his work cut out for him today, Steve Donnell.
Absolutely, of course, Kyle Matthews, a former Casey Scorpions captain, made a name for himself in the VFL, came to Blackburn this season, but in the meantime, it's Robbie Mallinson for South Croydon, about to have a shot for the first score of the game. He puts his boot into it, set sail for home, and the Bulldogs are on the board. They gain first blood. They're 1 straight 6. Blackburn yet to score on the Bendigo Bank scoreboard.
Good start by South Croydon. They managed to hold on to that initial onslaught by Blackburn. Good kick from Robbie Mallinson from outside 50. Brings up the first major.
South Croydon haven't had as much as the ball as Blackburn, but they've been able to use it more efficiently, and that's the case there. Really early on in this quarter, Blackburn had a lot of the play but weren't able to capitalise.
Great stuff by the South Croydon Football Club. That is blasphemy here. Picked up there nicely by O'Farrell. Snaps it up towards the half-forward line. Running after it there was Banfield. Couldn't quite get the ball. The Bulldogs were there to be mop up. Nice handball there by Descent. Got it across to Osborne. Little left foot kicking the ball. Eventually ends in the arms of Strawn. He'll take a bounce. He'll have another bounce. He might even go again. On the left boot goes inside forward 50 now. It's a one-on-one situation. Great mark at the back taken there by the Daniel King, the skipper. And he's only about 40 metres out and look to put on the Bulldogs' second goal in only a few moments.
He disguised that very well, King. From here, from where I stood, it looked like a couple of hands in the back, but genuine marking contest at the umpire.
Superstar footballer, of course, Chandler medalist in season 2013, normally in the three-quarter sleeves. Today he's left them down. Daniel King comes in from 40 metres out. He keeps it low, but he keeps it straight. Second goal on the board to the South Croydon Football Club on the Bendigo Bank scoreboard. They are 2 goals straight, 12, and Blackburn are yet to score.
Really bright start here, Dan, by South Croydon. They're up and about early.
Oh, certainly. You just know when Dan King's going to get the ball in front of goal that he won't let you down, the quality player that he is.
So Daniel King registering the second goal for South Croydon. Probably unprecedented, according to many EFL pundits who tipped Blackburn this afternoon. But I tell you what, the Bulldogs are putting up a good fight early. It's a good scrap, and it probably suits to the game style thus far. As we go back in the centre, Stevens won the tap, but the clearance was won for Blackburn by Fagan, who hacked it out of the pack, trying to barge his way through there for Blackburn was Ward. He was taken to ground. The pressure, the ferocity's been good for the Dogs. They're forcing the Panthers back. Eventually they gain some space with the hand pass through Faulkner, working towards the outer wing, and the mark has been taken there by Matthews, donning the helmet, of course, this afternoon. Looks out wide. The kick eventually found its target in Hammond. Seemed to wait up there for a while, but it was well directed. Looks inboard. They're slowing it down here, the Panthers. Ralph takes possession on centre wing. Looks towards the half-forward flank. The kick was ill-directed at the end, and South Croydon can mop up there through James Crowell. The hand pass was smothered. They're under pressure now. King gives a hand pass back. Stevens, they work it forward. The hand pass was ill-directed there by Marshall, and Blackburn can't capitalise. They're placing the pressure on. Marshall gains it back again. Kick towards centre wing is well marked. In the end, the hand pass comes out in the direction of Mallison. They kick it towards half forward, and the mark taken on the slide there by Jason Eagle. Kicked 8 goals last week. Eagle wants it onto the left boot. Set sail for home. It's off target, and one behind only to the scoreboard. So South Croydon 2-1-13 lead Blackburn yet to score on the Bendigo Bank scoreboard. We got about 7 minutes into this first term.
Very dangerous player, Dan, that Jason Eagle.
Oh, certainly. They look up and about at early stages, South Croydon. Damo mentioned about the ferocity. It's just carnage out there with their tackling pressure. It's just been phenomenal so far.
So Bunn taking his time. The kick finds its target on the outer side, and now they're moving forward through Blackburn. Backwards to go forwards in the middle of the ground. They've got the targets coming up. Going after it there was Ralph. He took the mark. Wants to go on with it quickly though, because it's an open 50 going inside forward 50, and a great bit of positioning there by Aaron Hatton. He made a good leap down from the wing position to take a mark only 40 metres out from goal, and he'll look to surely put through Blackburn's first score of the afternoon.
Never took his eyes off the ball on that occasion, Hatton, and is getting the rewards now.
Grant Campbell, thanks to Yarra Valley Smart Water.
Some good defensive pressure so far by South Croydon. 7 effective tackles and 2 intercept marks already.
So Blackburn's first genuine shot on goal by Hatton. Listen to the crowd. They cheered that one straight through. Made the goal umpire do a little bit of work, but first a major on the board for the Blackburn Football Club. Bendigo Bank scoreboard reads of them a 1 straight 6, trailing by 7 points. South Croydon 2-1-13.
Good transition of play there from Blackburn from the kick out there. They moved the ball, down through the middle, which is the best way to play Moreton Park. Spotted Aaron Hatton, took a beautiful mark down and kicked the goal as needed. Good start there for Blackburn.
He had a couple of guys to beat too on that occasion, Hatton, and he, as I mentioned before, he never took his eyes off the footy, and it was always going to be a free kick if one of them tried to spoil watching the man.
Blackburn with their first major on the board, and they're galvanised as they go out of the centre once again. The bounce almost eluded Fraser, tapped it to ground level. No one was there except Osborne for South Croydon. He looks towards the outer wing, kicks into the path there of Hughes. The bounce was kind for him. Kick around the corner towards centre half forward. Mark dropped there by Cuthbert. Eventually it comes back, and Blackburn have the numbers to clear here as they try to stream through. Kick was ill-directed. Errors galore out there on the outer wing, but eventually the Burners can steady the kick around the corner. Missed the intended target in Hatton. They still have the numbers though to recover here. Blackburn, the kick towards space on centre wing, into the path there of Banfield. He's well claimed there in the end for South Croydon by Arthurson, and we'll have a throw in between half forward and centre wing for the Blackburn Footy Club.
The highlight of South Croydon's game so far, Dan, is their tackling pressure on the ball carrier.
Half forward line for Blackburn, currently trailing by 1 goal. The ball was knocked down, went into the way of Strawn, couldn't quite trap it up, picked up there by Max Otten. He's had a fair few touches early in the piece, belts it out towards the forward pocket for Blackburn, and over the boundary line she goes. Grant Campbell, thanks to Choose Tap.
Clearance is 8-1 in favour of Blackburn so far.
Wow. So deep in the forward zone now for the Burners. It's a big crowd out here today. A lot of them formed in this very pocket as the umpire throws the ball in and went over everybody's head. Ralph was a ruckman in that contest going after, put his head over the ball. There was Hudson. Hudson couldn't quite trap it. Stacks on the mill. The umpire will come in and bounce this one. Only about 20 metres out, almost directly in front of goals now.
Brash, every time Blackburn get the ball, they look under a lot of pressure. You mentioned the tackling pressure from South Croydon.
And that's what they've formed their game on.
Oh, scooping on it and kicking a fantastic goal from the stoppage is that player in Anthony Fagan, and he enjoyed celebrating that one too, giving the arms out in flight to the members out here. And Blackburn, well, they almost square the ledger out here at Moreton Park. We're halfway through the first term here, and on the Bendigo Bank scoreboard, Blackburn 2 straight, trailing by a point. South Croydon 2-1-13.
A player that really got involved in that last passage of play leading up to that goal was Max Otten. Really good pick up from Donvale. I reckon he could be the bargain buy for this club this year.
Back at the centre, Blackburn with their second on the board, so it's even things up, and again the Panthers win the centre clearance. The kick towards centre half forward is marked by Hammond down on the lead. He's looking very imposing with the Dukes there.
Good centre clearance by Fagan there too. Absolutely. After slotting that goal.
And he can almost slide it up from here, Hammond. He's about 55 metres out from goal. Of course, Moreton Park's smaller confines than most ground in the Eastern Football League. So the distance probably won't test him too much. Hammond's kick on goal has the distance. Has it got the accuracy? No, it hasn't. One behind. So the score's all timed up here at Moreton Park. It's 2-1-13 apiece between Blackburn and South Croydon on the Bendigo Bank scoreboard.
So Ben Osborne goes short to Marshall, takes it in the back pocket. High calls play on, so the kick goes towards the King direction. He had 3 players to beat there. He was never going to be able to pull that mark down as Blackburn get another chance to reload into the middle of the ground. The mark's been taken there by Curtis. Lead is on inside forward 50. It was a spearing pass. It was a nice knock away there by Eddie to create the spoil. Ball falls away now for South Croydon, and they'll have the numbers to run away with this one. Nicely done there by Marshall. Got around one, got the handball into the middle of the ground to Descent. On the right boot, he was under a lot of pressure, but fell straight into the bread basket of the Blackburn backs, who switched the play very quickly. Paul Buns made a bit of space coming out from the defensive zone. He'll have to swing around on the left boot. Sloppy kick up towards the Hudson direction, sorry, that was. As he comes out, beautifully done there by Hatton. Spun his player out of a tackle, then won the football. But there is the player in Marshall, get the handball over towards almost the King direction. That was intercepted. Oh, they're going after it again. All players, ferocious effort. Now it's Daniel King on the right boot, tried to be tricky, kicked it around the body. It's still on wing position now for South Croydon. Getting it back there is David King. Banks it on his boot inside forward 50. It was valuable meterage around the body. The kick on goal there by Eagle. Which way will this one bounce through for one behind? It faded towards the left at the the last moment. So second blemish on the board to the South Croydon Football Club. They lead it at the moment by 1.2214, plays 2-1-13.
Brash Hatton's playing like a man possessed at the moment. We saw him up forward, of course, take that mark and kick that goal before, but out on the wing there when he's just second and third efforts, tackling pressure, and to follow up that again with the few possessions on there has just been sensational.
Yeah, he's recovered from a really serious injury, Aaron Hatton, and he's starting to find the form that he showed early on that made him a really good up-and-comer for the Blackburn Footy Club.
Paul Bunn to bring it back into play for the Panthers. He goes short into the back pocket, and the mark taken, it looks as if it is by Brooker there. Deep in the back pocket, he's placed under pressure, manages to evade the would-be tackler, gets the hand pass out. It was taken there by Bunn once again on the return, and Blackburn move it along the boundary line. Kick towards centre wing. The mark was dropped there by Macaulay. Could have consequences. The kick forward by Arvidsson. The umpires blowed the whistle.
Is it?
I think it might be coming back. No, it's coming back to Mulder by the looks of it. The umpire's not going to pay the downfield because I don't think the disposal was taken before the free kick actually ensued. It's going to go back to Arvidsson, in fact. Goes short. So that makes more sense. Absolutely. The Bulldogs try to move it forward there through the arms of Cuthbert. His kick was ill-directed, and Blackburn have a bevy of numbers across centre wing here as they move it forward.
And Fagan got the handball off very quickly, and now Blackburn surge forward. Great tackle there. The handball goes backwards, and the kick went skew into the middle of the ground. Over the back there, Cox might be able to mop up. King went in very hard. It came down to Stevens, who gave a loping handball into no man's land into the middle of the ground. Curtis goes after it, charging now in towards the middle of the ground. Got the little handball over the top there, picked up by Cox. His handball in turn eventually found a teammate across the half-forward line. Here's Glenn Strawn. Is it going to sit okay for him? Arvidsson went after it. He got crunched in a tackle there by Banfield, and there was a restart there for the Blackburn Football Club. But once again, it's been turned over. The kick by Strawn inside forward 50, bouncing football, going after it out there is Descent. Couldn't quite pick it up. Now does on the left boot, keeps it straight, but keeps it left, and another behind on the board. They're peppering the goals to South Croydon Football Club. There you go, Bank scoreboard reads 2 goals, 3-15. It is a 2-point margin. Blackburn 2-1-13.
It's an error-riddled game here, due to the pressure at the moment, Damien. It's unbelievable.
Yeah, certainly, and all 1%ers for both sides. The tackling pressure, the smothers, the spoils, they're all here today.
So Bunn's kick towards the half-back flank, and it's well marked in the end. They're just trying to slow things down. You get the sense, the Panthers, just to ease the pressure that's been placed upon them by the Dogs in the early minutes. So on the outer side of the ground, a long kick towards centre wing. The intended target was Banfield. He flew high, couldn't take the mark. The Dogs can mop up at the back through Hughes, who sent it into the corridor. They've got runners on the outside. One of them is David King. The kick was a shank off the boot, and it could be costly here because Blackburn can run on the overlap. Cotton was claimed, eventually got the hand pass out to Bunn. There's still a chance here, the Panthers, to move it forward. Chip pass looking for Banfield, but brilliantly intercepted there by Descent, and he forces it out of play on the outer wing here at Moreton Park. Let's head to Grant Campbell with Choose Tap stats.
Despite Blackburn leading the clearances 10-1, the inside 50 camp is 9-6 South Croydon's way.
So back at the middle, tackle affected there by Banfield, right on centre wing, and we'll have yet another bounce. Great crowd in here at Moreton Park. Get down here if you're in the area. Of course, in the affluent suburbs of Blackburn, they've certainly turned up in their droves as play is again set in motion. Tackle is affected. The umpire will call for a bounce once again as a plethora of players couldn't quite extract the ball from the pack. That was Fagan with the tackle.
Well, Damien, that plethora of players are unable to let any side control the corridor.
Absolutely, and you get the sense that that's the way the state of the game is at the moment. The tackle affected there by Donnell for South Croydon. The kick act forward for the Panthers, looking for Fraser, but in the end, the tall timber for the Bulldogs will prevail, and they can move it forward through James Crowell. Kick short, mark taken there at centre half back by his teammate in Myers. Myers trying to find the target out wide. He does so in the form there of Mallinson. The kick towards half forward. It's a brilliant mark taken there on the lead by Hughes, who of course has kicked 9 goals for the season, twice named the best for South Croydon in 2014. The kick there wasn't a good one. The mark was dropped by Cox, and Blackburn can take it forward on the overlap. Eventually it's taken by O'Farrell. Got the hand pass out. They're flirting with danger here, the Panthers. Eventually they get out of it through sheer persistence, and Macaulay takes it away. Hand pass eventually comes forward. They're just trying to work it out here. Fagan towards half back, and eventually they have the runners, and the kick will find the intended targeting Curtis
now on the left boot, drives the ball inside forward 50. That is a beautiful kick. Streaming out in front was the big man Ben Fraser, playing centre half forward this afternoon. He's taken it very tight on the boundary line, but this will be the kick to be able to put Blackburn in front. It was a short kick, and it wasn't too crash hot either. The intended target there was Brooker. Snap around the body though. This could go all right. Barron Hatton, he's already kicked one, but he's pushed this one just to the left-hand side. The crowd behind tried to convince the goal umpire, but he said not a chance of that one happening. Bendigo Bank scoreboard as we cross the 19-minute mark of the first term. It is 2-2-14 playing 2-3-15.
So South Croydon on the move once again, trying to stream it out of defence. They're being placed under a lot of pressure in their defence, but they managed to work it out for Estroni's kick was a shocker. Straight down the throat of an opponent there. At Blackburn, they had the numbers in the corridor. It's a relatively open forward line, but South Croydon have put numbers back now. So the hand pass eventually comes forward to Otten, who could drive it forward. He does so into the pocket, looking in the Fraser direction. He was against two, falls to ground level. Snap around the shoulder there by O'Farrell. It's high. It's off target, however, only a minor score, so scores level once again. It's 2-3-15, Blackburn and South Croydon on the Bendigo Bank scoreboard halfway through this first term.
Yeah, look, both sides are really struggling to gain any sort of ascendancy whatsoever, and neither side can gain control of the corridor.
Strawn kicks it out towards the Eddie direction. He had three players to beat. He had to be clever off the ground, and he was. The umpire might say that's okay. Grattan Stevens now switches the ball out wide to Marshall. Now on the right boot. It's a good kick, looking inside forward 50 there for South Croydon. Blackburn once again seem to have the numbers, but sloppy skills might bring them undone. Here as the handball goes back towards Marshall. He'll go backwards again, but he copped one very high, did the player in Dylan Marshall, and he'll receive a free kick about 65 metres out from goal.
Solid bump there.
He certainly didn't see that one coming. There might be we might see a blood rule here. It looks to be as if Daniel King is coming in and will be the recipient of the kick.
Dan, both centre forwards, Fraser and Eagles, have had really little impact on the game.
King's kick. Sorry, Dan, just to cut you off, but Blackburn have the numbers here as they move it forward. On the overlap, the kick eventually taken into the path there of Ward. He's dropped it. Over the top there, Fraser couldn't quite take it. South Croydon rather have the numbers on the outer wing. Strawn's hand pass ill-directed. It was almost a hospital one. Fraser comes in again to lend support. Taken away there by Hatton. It falls to ground level. Brushed off the football. King eventually gets the hand pass back, and they can move it forward here. South Croydon through Eddie. Spears it towards half forward. His kick missed the intended target there at Ferraccio. Now they can move it forward here. Blackburn through the corridor. Matthews spearing pass. They got numbers aplenty, and the mark taken by Hammond all on his own, uncontested. He can go back and have a shot from almost directly in front.
They were playing Russian roulette there, South Croydon. They all pushed up the ground to sort of congest the play, but they didn't run back quick enough, and a quick turnover, and this is what happens.
One can't help but feel that Blackburn, just over the last 3 or 4 minutes, Dan, have just sort of trying to spread the ball even a bit further, just to break the South Croydon momentum.
Hammond from 40 metres, the kick looks pretty good off the boots, and Blackburn hit the front. They move on to 3-3-21, leading South Croydon 2-3-15 by one straight kick on the Bendigo Bank scoreboard.
Brash, you mentioned in the last few minutes Blackburn have been able to spread and get a bit more of the ball cleanly. I think what's happened a lot in this quarter is that Blackburn have been pressured into playing a chip game style around the ground and haven't been able to drive the ball long. But as we saw then with the quick turnover, they're able to revert back to their natural style of play and hit up targets.
Exactly right.
Grant Campbell, thanks to Choose Tap Match Stats.
Some good chances for the forwards so far, with Blackburn having 4 marks inside 50, South Croydon 3. Blackburn finding a lot more of the ball with 23 more disposals.
Ball back in the middle of the ground. Stevens will go against Ralph. We'll give that one to Stevens. We'll go for the clearance with Daniel King. Couldn't quite get boot to ball. Players screaming for holding it. The umpire will come in and we'll have a restart. Dead centre of Moreton Park out here today.
Grant's in ripping nick too.
Oh, it is.
Picturesque, you might call it, Brash. Stevens got the quick knockdown to Molnar. Snap around the body. The kick goes up towards a half-forward line. Bouncing football lot and came charging through. Couldn't quite trap it. At the fall of the ball, there is Donnell on the left boot. Kicks it to the top of the goal square. One-on-one situation. At the back of the pack going there was Eagle. Couldn't quite bring the ball in. It's right near that boundary line there for South Croydon. But Blackburn are going to get the numbers away and running out through it is Banfield. But Damien, you saw something there being called back?
Yes, I believe he was over the boundary line, so it'll be a throw-in deep in the attacking half there for South Croydon. They're looking certainly dangerous on the counter-attack once they gain possession. You do get the sense, though, as Brash mentioned, that Blackburn starting to find their mojo as the ball is brought back into play. Claim there was Eagle. Eventually comes forward. South Croydon still have a chance. Spinning out of trouble was Mulder. Got the hand pass away. The high tackle is affected there. That was against Fagan. Yeah, it certainly was. He grabbed him straight around the neck there, Brash. Undisciplined.
Yeah, it was. You know, can't afford to give a free kick away, basically in front, especially to a guy like Kingy.
Well, you throw your hand near a neck of Daniel King and he's going to throw his head back anyway, so he certainly knows how to win the important ball.
Good afternoon, Joel Selwood.
Daniel King lining up from directly in front. He's about 50 metres from goal. The kick on the way has the distance, but not the accuracy. It fades through to the right for a minor score, and one behind on the board for the Bulldogs. They're 2-4-16, trailing Blackburn 3-3-21 on the Bendigo Bank scoreboard.
One guy that's had a really good start to the game and held the back line forward is Paul Bunn.
Indeed, and he brings the ball in. He dropped it on that occasion. King can capitalise and dribble it through for a goal for South Croydon. Brilliant play, David King, and he puts the Bulldogs in front, 3-4-22, capitalising there on a Blackburn error. The Panthers are 3-3-21, a point the difference in a ripper at Moreton Park on the Bendigo Bank scoreboard.
He hasn't taken a backward step so far in this game, David King. He's been fantastic. There was a passage of play a few minutes ago in the middle of the ground where he's pushed to the ground and he kept going and he pushes forward and he's able to kick goals.
Brash, I think you put the moz on Paul Bunn on that occasion.
You give a bloke a rap and look what he does to you.
Well, we've crossed the 24.5-minute mark of this first term, and it promised to be a fantastic match, and the first quarter has certainly shown that as the umpire throws it up. Stevens got the knockdown to the King direction again. Stevens goes after it. King got dumped after he didn't win the football, but he got dumped in the tackle, so the umpire will be paying a free kick to Daniel King.
Starting to get a bit willing out there, Dan.
Yeah, a little bit of argy-bargy going on in the middle of the ground, so
it is King,
the skipper.
The recipient, picking it long, deep inside the 50. Waiting at the back there was Hughes, but he was against two Blackburn defenders and couldn't win out. And the Panthers can clear it from their defensive zone. They're trying to push numbers towards the boundary line on that centre wing by the looks of it. They do just that. Kick towards the centre wing position. Brilliant mark taken there by Hammond. He got the Dukes up and he held his line and took a fantastic grab. Chips the pass, finds his teammate in Brooker, who will intend to slow things down here for the Panthers. Got a couple of numbers short. He elects to choose one of those in Ryan Toohey. Was named best on ground for Blackburn last week in their 123-point demolition of Knox. Chips it short. Oh, gee, a collision between two Blackburn players as they went for the mark. King capitalises, kicks towards half-forward, and the mark taken at the back. I think it was Hughes there diving up to take the contested mark, and he can go back and have a shot. In fact, it is Jason Eagle. So the other key forward, but gee, Brash, that was a shocking error.
It's a huge turnover.
Oh, it is a huge turnover. You know, that's what happens when you try and get too cute. You know, this little chipping around, all of a sudden it brings you undone, Dan, and look what's happened.
Eagle from 45, it's leading.
Oh, he hasn't made them pay.
Yes, only a minus
huge
score.
Huge let off for Blackburn there, especially making errors like that, and it all comes back to basics of talking on the footy field.
Absolutely. So South Croydon move on to 3-5-23 on the Bendigo Bank scoreboard, leading Blackburn 3-3-21. So it's Bunn to bring the ball back in for the Panthers. Chips it short to the outer side of the ground. And the Panthers, as we saw in that last passage of play, just trying to slow things down. The kick back towards the Bunn direction. It was ill-directed. It could be costly. They have enough support to get out of trouble, though, the Panthers. They dodged the bullet, though, and the mark's taken by Brooker in the back pocket. So Brooker looks down the line and the siren sounds to indicate that it's quarter time, and it's a ripping game out here at Moreton Park. Get down here if you can. South Croydon taking a narrow lead over the home side in Blackburn. It's the Dogs 3-5-23 leading Blackburn 3-3-21.
We're going to cross down very shortly to our Akira Urgent Care Boundary Riders because they were going to have a chat to this coach Peter Banfield, but it looks like that might happen after this huddle. So it's time to go back to the studios out at Croydon with Barry Cotts to have our first break here on Anzac Day, EFL Gameday. It's a fantastic match. It's only 2 points of difference at South Croydon leading this one.
Good news, boys. It's 20% off to travel on Eastlink on weekends and public holidays with a car tag. So, with the money you'll save, you'll have enough.
Enough for what, Coach?
My birthday present next week, and I have my eye on some sparkly gold footy boots with some pandas on them. Get a breeze tag and use Eastlink, the quickest way to get around Melbourne's East. Arrive fresher, play better. Eastlink, it's time better spent. In sparkly boots, program sponsor.
It can be difficult booking an appointment with your GP when you need medical care urgently. But at Akira Urgent Care, Australia's first walk-in medical and emergency clinic, you don't need an appointment and you don't have to wait. Walk in at 157 Scoresby Road, Baronia, or call us on 9839 3333. That's 9839 3333. Akira Urgent Care. We'll have you off the sidelines in no time. Station sponsor.
For all things EFL, The Huddle.
Good evening, Eastern Football League lovers. One of the punishments is you've got to get spray tan the Friday night before a game.
Oh, nice.
Wash all the jumpers. And of course, he is Glenn Harcher, and welcome to the program tonight. G'day, Glenn.
G'day, guys. How you going?
If it was up to Dino, he's winning the league, DNF, our BNF. How much longer we've got to see Stewie Wine going around in the Eastern Football League?
Probably about 1/4.
6 p.m. every Wednesday on 98.1 Radio Eastern.
For the best EFL rap on radio, don't miss Akira EFL Sunday from 10 till 12 every Sunday morning on 98.1 Radio Eastern. Ben Warren Smith and the team bring you all the final scores, goal kickers, best players and ladders following a big round of EFL footy. The gang also talk to winning coaches, players and special guests to bring you the final scores from all seniors, reserves and under-19s matches. Akira EFL Sunday, going live and local for your footy from 10 every Sunday on 98.1 Radio Eastern. For all the latest news and information on the Eastern Football League, make sure you check out our website www.efl.org.au.
EFL Saturday Game Day continues. Let's head back and go local for your footy.
Welcome back to Moreton Park here in Blackburn, and what a ripping start to this game. It was just right hot from the word go, and that first siren really both sides just wanted everything and anything out of that first contest, and that's what we've seen so far, Dan.
Yeah, you could sense it right from the first bounce. The ferocity and the tackling pressure of both sides was really up. And maybe it's cliched, but it's Anzac Day and it's a big occasion, so both sides really keen to rise to the occasion. What I think was happening a lot in that first quarter was South Croydon's pressure around the contest and around the ball was just phenomenal. And Blackburn were, as I mentioned earlier, Blackburn were forced into playing a real chip game style around the ground, which often led to a few turnovers like we saw before. But look, South Croydon, to their credit, are hanging around and they're in front. So Blackburn this quarter, they're dominating the clearances, but they've really got to make the most of them.
Just quickly on that score, it's if you've just joined us, we are out here at Moreton Park. Blackburn taking on South Croydon, our Anzac Day clash for this afternoon, and it was the visitors South Croydon who managed to get the chocolates right at the end of the quarter. 3-5-23 South Croydon, 3-3-21 Blackburn, and with the two-step match stats, Grant Campbell.
Well, the clearances were won by Blackburn 11-4, including 5-2 out of the centre. The contested ball, South Croydon won 38-37. The uncontested possessions, 63-40 in favour of Blackburn. They were overusing it a bit at times, and that was due to South Croydon's good pressure. They had 16 effective tackles to Blackburn's 11, and the inside 50 count was 14-9 in favour of South Croydon. So really the clearances was the only area that Blackburn were on top, so that's what South Croydon will look at improving. Blackburn perhaps maybe make more use of the ball and not stuff around with it so much.
The best in the business is Grant Campbell, thanks to Yarra Valley Water and Choose Tap. Dan, just looking out at Moreton Park, it's I suppose it's a credit to the Blackburn Football Club that there is, I can't even see where the players are in their huddle. So too with the South Croydon huddle, there's that many people out on the ground at the moment.
Oh, it's sensational to have such great interest in Anzac Day footy in the Eastern Football League when we consider that look, Collingwood and Essendon are playing in the AFL, but a lot of people are following the Eastern Football League and showing the keen interest by turning up today.
We spoke about two players before the game, Dan King and also Kyle Matthews. Dan King popped up a couple of times, had a couple of set shots on goal. Who takes the chocolates in the first term?
I thought Dan King. He's willed himself to every contest and he's been dangerous around the goals and around the ground. So watch for him in the second quarter and the rest of the game. He could be the difference.
Both sides just
taking all the time they possibly can. We've had the first iron, but they're just making the most of it as Blackburn break away now. Damo, your thoughts on the first term?
Oh, it was very, very interesting to see the combination not only of ferocious tackling and the immense pressure placed on the ball carrier, but also the smooth movement of the ball as well.
We'll cross boundary side thanks to Akira Urgent Care. Georgina's got Peter Banfield from Blackburn.
I certainly do, boys. Peter, what was the message to the players at the break?
Just to relax and compose yourselves. I think we've had a lot of the footy. We've just made some errors. We've given the ball back to them on a number of occasions. So obviously we're getting it to halfway and we're turning it over and they're just bringing it straight back. So just making sure that they settle, just use the ball a bit better, get off the mark a little bit and just start to execute their skills.
And you're looking to slow the game down, or does the fast pace suit you?
Oh, we like a fast pace because we're really fit. We'll run the game out strongly. We'll rotate very, very heavily. So at the moment we'll just keep going down that tempo and see if we can get a bit more control of the game.
Thanks, Peter. Best of luck.
Great stuff. Georgina Cahill down at ground level with Blackburn coach Peter Banfield, thanks to Akira Urgent Care. BWS, it's been an entertaining and enthralling contest so far. What are your thoughts on the first quarter?
I really enjoyed watching that first quarter of football. It was highly entertaining. Of course, it always helps when it's a close game as well. But both sides at times looked like quite dangerous, didn't they, as they moved the ball from the wing position up towards the half-forward line. So I think at times a lot of the forwards are already playing in front, so the first opportunity is going to go towards them. But a few scrappy disposals will always let a side down, and we've seen a couple of those already so far in that first term. But all in all, it's a fantastic game of football, and you certainly can't pick one out of this as yet, Damo.
Let's head down to ground level thanks to Akira Urgent Care and Alice.
So it looks like Lachlan Arthurson, number 20 for South Croydon, won't be continuing on in the game, looking like he's hurt his hamstring.
Oh, that's a big loss there for South Croydon. Arthurson going down with a hamstring. They don't want to be one down already, South Croydon.
No, that's a big loss, isn't it? Certainly don't want to be a player down, do you, Brash, going into this second term, because there's still 3/4 of football to go, and he got a few touches in the first term. So
he did, and it's a pretty warm day out there, so the guys are going to be really, probably in that third quarter when the game's up for grabs, we'll find out who's the survivor of the fittest.
Thanks to Alice Malberg down there with that information. Thanks to Akira Urgent Care. We're just about set to start this second term. Fantastic atmosphere. It's a sun-drenched Moreton Park. Get down here if you're in the area. Absolutely. You'll be able to find the space though, but you'll struggle because the crowd is 4 or 5 deep as we get underway in this second term. It's South Croydon narrowly leading Blackburn by 2 points. Back in the centre, it's the Bulldogs with the clearance through King, who hacks it inside 50. Looking there in the Hughes direction. Manages to rove his own footy. Gets the hand pass back. Breaking the tackle there in the end was Mallinson, was paid the free kick for a high. And he can go back, resettle, and find the target inside 50.
Very stiff there, Blackburn.
So Mallinson, you did get the sense he did duck through the tackle, but the umpire was probably within his rights. The kick inside 50, looking there for Eagle. Couldn't quite take it on the stretch. There's still a chance here, the Dogs. Hand pass intercepted there for Blackburn by Tui. Tui looks towards the outer wing. The kick, I suppose, well, missed a number of players there, and South Croydon can go back inside the 50. Good smother applied there by Brooker for the Panthers. The ball's still at ground level. Brooker still desperately trying to pick it up. It falls out the back. Pouncing on it there is Fagan for the Panthers. Looks to go back, looks to go forwards, and eventually through Hammond they can move it towards centre wing and find a target. And leading out there is Banfield. He looks towards the half-forward flag for Otten. Well, it bounced too kindly for him, though it was quite fickle in the end, and it falls out of play 45 metres around for the Panthers' goal.
Look, I reckon here, I think that at the moment, whoever can get a quick 2 or 3 goal break might hold the key to this game.
Peter Banfield said they like it fast out there, so obviously the game's suiting them at the moment.
Ball back into play, contesting there is Stevens with Ralph. The former won the tap, and as a result the Dogs had a chance to break clear, but holding the ball.
Stevens caught there.
Absolutely, that was a brilliant tackle there, Brash.
Yeah, it was. Always really good. It's good for a good sign when you can put pressure on in the opposition's back line to win a free kick.
Epitomises their game so far, South Croydon.
Absolutely. As the scoring opportunity comes up for Blackburn in the form of O'Farrell. His kick is on the way and it's on target. A brilliant goal scored there by Heath O'Farrell to put Blackburn back in front. They move on to 4-3-27, leading South Croydon 3-5-23 on the Bendigo Bank scoreboard. And boys, that's just the start the Panthers would have wanted.
Exactly. Well, this is I've always said that this is the scoring in the southern end. If you play straight down the middle at this ground and hit your head up forward, forwards, you're going to score heavily.
Looks like early in this second term, Blackburn are getting the game more on their terms. We heard from Soupy at quarter time that they're dominating the clearances in the midfield too.
Well, Ralph got the knockdown. It came out towards the Tui direction. Little quick kick up towards the half-forward line of the full. The ball, Cox was going to be able to pick it up. Got the handball over the top, still inside the centre square here. Forward there by Matthews. That was a good handball. They'll have a shot on goal here through Simpson on the right boot. It was a wafting kick through. In fact, I think that was O'Farrell having his second shot on goal in only a matter of moments, Damien Watson. But through it goes for a 1 behind. And on the Bendigo Bank scoreboard, as we cross the 3-minute mark of this second term, it is Blackburn, the home side, leading this one. They are 4-4, South Croydon 3-5.
The Bulldogs moving it forward with purpose. King eventually got the take, but he couldn't quite find the target. The Panthers have a chance now as they move it forward on centre wing. The hand pass comes from Clay. Goes backwards to go forwards once again, and Gearlings looks towards the boundary line on centre wing, and he finds his target in Matthews. So Kyle Matthews, former captain of the KC Scorpions, now donning the Blackburn colours, looks towards half forward. Couldn't find his target there in Brooker. Eventually the Dogs have the numbers to hand pass around and construct a way forward. Cuthbert ran forward, and he was decked after he was kicking the ball, and there's a bit of a how do you do behind the play. The umpire needs to call play on. He does just that. The fight breaking out behind the play, but we'll continue on with the footy. The kick inside the 50, a chance for the Dogs, and a brilliant mark in the back.
It was there.
Yeah, good call by the umpire, and the Blackburn faithful were happy with that decision. So the free kick to be taken there by Macaulay is starting to settle down and dissipate there behind the play, but Blackburn will move it forward.
Macaulay kicks it up towards the Otten direction. He got one arm up at the fall. The ball running through his fingers out there. South Croydon through Molnar. Handball over the top. Went towards the Geelings direction. He couldn't quite trap the football. Dropping what he and claiming a free kick was Tui, held without the football, and we'll have a bounce. We'll have a free kick, sorry, to Tui as we cross down boundary side. Thanks to Akira Urgent Care to Georgina.
Yeah, thanks, boys. Boys, the umpire's given Carl Matthews a yellow card, so he'll spend 15 minutes on the boundary line.
So Ralph, short passes on. They'll do it in bits and pieces here. The ball's in the arms there of McFarlane. And a 25-metre penalty as well. So I think that was David King going over the man on the mark there. So
look at them mouthing off at each other as he goes forward.
You want to be careful.
Certainly would after giving away one, but then he kicked it straight into the man of the mark, did it, McFarlane into King, and going after the football there was Clay, and we'll have a bounce just outside the centre square out here at Morton Park members side.
Brash, Kyle Matthews off for 15 minutes. It's 15 minutes, but that's a huge loss for the Blackburn side at the moment.
Oh, it is. I thought he was a bit unlucky myself.
Molnar trapped the football. He got a little handball out wide. It couldn't win only as far as Banfield. He was trapped in the contest, and we'll have another bounce.
Where's this feeling between the two sides coming from, Brash? Do these sides have a history? They just seem to be very angry at each other.
Oh, no, I think it's just a bit of Anzac spirit starting to come through, I reckon.
Certainly is the occasion. Stevens worked his way to the front. We'll give that one to him, Grant Campbell, and we'll also have another stoppage, perhaps, or holding the football. So it'll be a free kick going to South Croydon across the half-back line now. King screaming for it across the half-forward line. It goes into the direction of Hughes. He'd be able to trap it. Now the big man did on the first bounce. Swings around on the right boot. It was a good-looking kick, and it had to be good too, and the mark was taken there by Glenn Strawn. The ball just held up in his favour, and he'll go back there and have a shot on goal, Glenn Strawn, from about 55 metres out from goal.
Is a good kick, Glenn Strawn.
It's a generous 50 here at Morton Park too.
It is generous, but this guy is renowned for his footwork and hand-to-eye coordination.
Currently trailing by 5 points is the South Croydon Football Club. 4 goals, plays 3. Glenn Strawn to put the doggies back in front. He hits the 50, kicks it to the top of the goal square. It's going to hold up short. The big man Ralph got himself into a good position. Got the handball away to Macaulay, and they're working numbers. Otten gets a handball away now to Geelings, and now Blackburn are away.
Blackburn moving forward along the boundary line. Diving in front of it there was Clay to try and claim it. In fact, it was Hudson, and he forces it over the boundary line. We'll have a throw in 70 metres around from the South Croydon goal.
Once again, some poor foot skills there, undone some really good work there from the Blackburn club.
Ball back into play. Stevens was favoured in the ruck contest, forced it to ground level, then tried to tackle his opponent there in O'Farrell. Eventually the hand pass comes out. Number of players overlap the footy, taken out there by Fagan for the Panthers. Looks towards the half-forward flank, taking it on the bounce there was Hammond. Twisting, turning, got it back, but South Croydon have too many numbers. They're certainly placing pressure on the Panthers defenders there as the throw-in will take place. About 50 metres around from the Blackburn goal. The Panthers attacking with purpose.
think they look under siege a bit in this second quarter, South Croydon. Blackburn have come out a different side.
Absolutely. The ruck contest won there by Curtis for the Panthers, forces it to ground level. The Bulldogs have the numbers. The hand pass intended there for Strawn. Eventually it's very scrappy as a plethora of players try to extricate it out. The kick from Fagan was smothered. It's forced out for South Croydon. Still players try to get an effective disposal away, and eventually the Dogs will run it forward. The kick eventually was miscued, but it found the target in the end accidentally in Boulder, and the Bulldogs move it inside 50. Kick in the direction there, and finding Hughes on the lead. He can go back and have a shot, but the angle is very, very acute.
Good ball movement there by South Croydon as they move the ball through the middle into the forward line. Hughes a chance to kick the goal. He's going to have to thread the eye with the needle here.
Yet to kick a goal, the big full forward, but certainly been presenting throughout the match so far. He's tugged up against the boundary, copping a lot of flack from the Blackburn faithful, but the concentration looks good. The kick goes across the face of goal. There isn't going to be a score, but there's going to be a mark though. Standing strong, Jason Eagle, and he pulled up the big jukes, and he'll have run around now. Well, the umpire said no, go back and have a shot over the man on the mark. He might still be able to duck around for a bit of a snapshot here, but they'll get a little bit of a let off here, South Croydon. Still 5 points they're trailing by. It was a lazy looking kick off the boot, but it's gone straight over the goal umpire's head. That is a goal. Fantastic play there by the big man in Jason Eagle. He kicks his first of the afternoon, and South Croydon get back in front on the Bendigo Bank scoreboard as we cross the 8.5 minute mark. It's now back to a 1 point ball game.
And neither side can gain any sort of advantage whatsoever. They can't control the centre. They're relying on a kick and mark game at the moment just to make do. Dan?
You mentioned the centre. How many times in this game have we seen Blackburn get a quick clearance and go forward, and they haven't capitalised as much on their goal opportunities, but that will certainly hurt South Croydon if Blackburn can do that a few times this afternoon.
Eagles first major, putting South Croydon back in front as they regain the lead. It's been a very seesawing battle. Let's head to Grant Campbell with some Choose Tap match stats.
South Croydon leading the clearances this quarter 5-3 after that.
And they do win it again, and the hacking kick out of the congestion there from Stevens was marked by Hughes on the dive. He's hurt, but he'll get up and take his kick from about 40 metres out directly in front.
The advantages of playing in front.
Yeah, exactly.
Hit his head pretty hard there on that occasion too, but he's up and he's all right, which is good.
All of a sudden, South Croydon, once again, just when you think Blackburn are threatening to take the game away from them, they just hit back there.
Oh, certainly, and this is a hugely important kick. We're probably midway through this second quarter, and if you can go into half time at a big occasion like this in front, it's a huge plus.
So Daniel Hughes, he and Jason Eagle have been very intimidating and imposing focal points up forward for the Dogs this afternoon. Hughes leads back on it and from 45 metres has put it through. I think he snuck it in. So the Bulldogs get yet another on the board, another major. They move on to 5-5-35, leading Blackburn 4-4-28 on the Bendigo Bank scoreboard. The Dogs just starting to gain the ascendancy here, boys.
The two forwards, Eagles and Hughes, are starting to have an impact on the game. Then Blackburn are going to have to start tightening up on them.
I know Eagles one to watch, as Dyson mentioned in the pre-game. He's been imposing with his early season form up forward. And Hughes on that occasion, I think he really owed the Dogs one after he sprayed that last kick across the face just a few moments ago. So that's paying the Bulldogs back there.
So the ball's back in the middle. Curtis moves into the ruck for the Burners. Got the knockdown, and they might be able to win the clearance here. And Simpson couldn't quite get boot to ball, but screaming through and getting boot to ball there was Tui on the left boot. Kicks it to the top of the goal square. It's a 2-on-2 situation. Ball knocked away. Hits the deck and over the boundary line. It goes seen over by Sam Hudson, and we'll have a boundary throw in. Left forward pocket, Blackburn end.
James Crowell's doing a magnificent job on Ben Fraser here. Fraser's had no influence on the game whatsoever.
Yeah, I was going to say, Brash, Fraser, you get the sense has been quelled quite effectively in the forward line, so he'll have to lift here for the Panthers. From the throw-in, Stevens got the knockdown from behind. Blackburn trying to keep it in play. A snap-on goal has gone across the face and through for a minor score. So the Burners move on to 4-5-29. They're trailing South Croydon 5-5-35 by one straight kick on the Bendigo Bank scoreboard.
Just on Ben Fraser there, Brash. It's interesting, he hasn't had too much of the footy. He can come into the game in the second half and really have an impact as that sort of player.
So Osborne might play it to himself and go towards the Debney direction here. He played for that way, but then got it into towards the middle of the ground. That was good. Myers now got the kick away up towards the half-forward line, playing in front there is Eagle. Will it bounce favourably for him? Gave a nice little tap onto towards the position there of Daniel Hughes, who's been in the thick of it in this early in his second term. Handball backwards, that was okay. They've got the numbers now. The Dog squeeze a kick up towards the Daniel King direction. He takes off the skipper, plays off one step, shoots on to goal and pushes it to the right-hand side. So that was a bit of fast movement there by the Doggy Football Club, and the Bendigo Bank scoreboard, they just edge a little bit closer. 4-5-29, plays at 5-6-36. Oh no, as the ball comes straight back in, Tyler Curtis was the man going up for it, couldn't quite rip it down, and will have a boundary throw in, 50-metre arc for South Croydon, currently leader by 7 points. We have gone 17 minutes here in this second term, playing in front there, the handball from Molnar, went over the top there, picked up by Banfield, tried to get the handball out wide, and now the looping handball goes towards the Curtis direction, and then once again he's got the fumbles. Tyler Curtis spills it over the boundary line for a boundary throw-in.
That was smart play by South Croydon. They took Curtis's mind off the job there. He should have gone up for the ruck, and he missed out, and they were allowed to gain possession of the ball. It didn't hurt them, but it could.
Umpire brings the ball back into play. Stevens got the knockdown. Crowd asking for a bit of a high tackle there, but not to be, as we cross to Will Taylor for some important around the ground scores.
Yeah, one turn South leading up Infantry Gully, 4-2, 26-1 behind, so 25-point leads to the Devils, and Mitchell, Moline, Glen Waverley by 11 points, 3-6, 24-2, 1-13.
On the move is Hatton, a driving kick towards the half-forward flank, looking for his intended target there in Hammonds, but he couldn't quite find him as it rolls out of play. It'll be a throw-in right on the half-forward flank here for the Blackburn Footy Club in that shady little spot there at Moreton Park.
Just going back to that last kick for goal there, Dan King probably should have taken the set shot there, Dan.
Yeah, well, Eagles have been very smart with the way he's been setting up. He's been getting goal side of his man, so it was always going to perhaps end in disaster for Blackburn.
A bit of a scrap and yet another stoppage as neither player from neither side could extract the footy from the pack. It's been that way all afternoon, you get the sense. To the ball back in motion, King, the ball eluded him. Eventually the kick is scrapped out by Ferraccio for South Croydon. Wasn't any intended target, so Blackburn through Watton can kick it inside 50 at the mark. Has it been paid? It has. Oh, that was a four grabber at ground level, and it was brilliantly held onto there by Jake Hammond. Oh, he was sitting down and on the ground as if he was in a sofa in Bali there, Dan Campbell.
Well, he's got to take this opportunity because Blackburn have really slipped behind the South Croydon pace so far in this second quarter.
So Jake Hammond, a deliberate approach. A mark like that probably does deserve a goal. From 45 metres out, kick on the way, straight through the middle. And he's given his opponent a bit of lip service. That's his second goal for the afternoon. And Blackburn within 1 point of South Croydon on the Bendigo Bank scoreboard there. 5-5-35, trailing the Dogs 5-6-36. It's a ripping seesawing contest.
Both sides, when they get clear air and clear ball, Dan, they're starting to show their skills. But neither side, once again, cannot take any advantage whatsoever.
Yeah, I was about to mention that both sides are having their bursts of momentum. At one point in the game, say South Croydon might be controlling, then it'll be Blackburn, then it'll be South Croydon.
Well, the ball's back in the middle. Stevens got the knockdown straight into the arms of Donallo. Got it back to Stevens. Bouncing football. It might bounce favourably here for Hughes. We're running at the back and holding up to his side is Faulkner. He'll swing around on the right boot. That was a neat looking pass. It was intended for his teammate there in McCauley. Had to bounce it to his own advantage there, but the ball just didn't sit up. Kick goes inside forward 50. Cox is in position 8. Dropped probably what he should have taken. Blackburn now might have the numbers once again at the back as a big tackle comes in from Eddie. The umpire said it was fair and will have a bounce only 20 metres out from goal.
It's ferocious tackling there from Eagle. He's probably one of his strengths as a forward, being able to tackle and defend as well as attack.
Certainly an imposing figure as he goes up, wins the knockout that time against Curtis. Going in there was King of the David variety. He was trapped nicely in a tackle there by Anthony Simpson.
Holding the ball.
And will have a free kick as it was a good tackle there by Simpson. So King just probably trying to lay an egg there, hold the ball up to create the stoppage. So Simpson now on the right boot, had to be spot on in his pass, and the ball bounced favourably there for Hammond. Swings around on the left boot. It was a high up and under kick going towards the crowd direction. He couldn't quite bring it in with one hand, but he might receive a free kick for copy one a little bit late, James Crowell, and he'll take it far side of the ground.
Tell you what, he hasn't done too much wrong, James Crowell. He's well on top of the big clash between him and Fraser.
So Crowell now on the right boot will kick it up towards the Hughes direction. A target that's been right on so far this afternoon as the ball at the fall goes out towards the Clay direction. Got a little handball, comes into the arms of Curtis now, who will swing around on the left boot, and they'll might have done it a little bit slowly, but they're away, Damien Watson.
They are indeed. Hammond's chip pass, well, it looked to be ill-directed to the naked eye, but eventually they get out of it here, Blackburn. Fagan along the boundary line. It was a directed kick there for Fraser. He couldn't quite take it. Again, South Croydon double teaming. It'll be a ball in right on centre wing at Moreton Park. Hope you enjoyed the coverage right here on Radio Eastern 98.1 FM. So the throw in. Ralph got the front spot, but Stevens judged it the better and won the tap. The Dogs can move it through the corridor, and Strawn with pace to Burn. Kicks it towards centre half forward, looking for Hughes. He flew high, misjudged the ball, couldn't quite keep his feet. Blackburn have the numbers again. They're composed, and through Macaulay they settle it down and chip the pass towards Chris Clay.
Gee, he's got a serious sleeve, the Eagles.
You love those, don't you, Brash?
Oh, yeah.
Chris Clay. Between half-back and centre wing, looks towards half-forward, the kick floated up in the air. South Croydon had the tall timber there to pick it up. The hand pass again, floated, and going after the footy there.
Smart play.
Yes, it'll be a free kick going the way of Blackburn, and to be taken by Ward towards the forward pocket, and a well-directed ball, well judged in the end also, and the mark taken in the end by Ben Fraser, who's been quiet, Brash. He needs to get on the board.
He certainly does. This will be a big team lift here for Blackburn. If he can kick a goal, especially from this angle, really hard angle to score from this ground, but Ben Fraser's more than willing and capable of doing it.
It will certainly be a team lifter if he can nail it from an acute angle, but it fades off to the right at only a minor score. So the Panthers move on to 5-6-36, drawing level with South Croydon on the same scoreline here on the Bendigo Bag scoreboard.
Brash, we spoke about tagging jobs and defensive jobs in pre-game. That's what Crowell, I think, is doing on Fraser at the moment. He's attacking and defending really well, all while giving Fraser nothing.
That's exactly right. He's right. He's just not giving him anything.
So Strawn goes straight up the middle, finds his skipper in King. The umpire called play on. He goes after it again. King, he might get pinged for holding the ball here. He might get pinged. The umpire said play on. It's about 45 metres out from the Blackburn goal line. We've got about 10 players around it. Eventually the umpire will come in and we'll have a bounce.
Very lucky there, I thought, South Croydon not to get penalised there. He was hatching the ball too.
So umpire throws it up, big knockdown there by Otten, straight into the path there is Simpson, who banks it on his boot, bouncing football to the top of the goal square. They've still got the numbers 25 metres out from goal, Blackburn, but South Croydon, they have the poise, they have the support, and they get the clearing kick out, but it'll only go as far as Alex Galings.
So Galings,
go for a demo.
Just waltzing through with a bounce. He was taken down there by a Bulldog. It was almost a turnover. In fact, it has been effective through King. It's an open forward line for the Bulldogs. Looking there for Hughes, but he was well out positioned there by Macaulay. Macaulay moving it forward through Matthews. The hand pass eventually comes to Clay. Chips the pass. They're composed here, the Panthers. Eventually it comes through Gearlings. Looks out wide and finds his intended target there in Otten. Sends a long ball to the opposite pocket. What a kick. 50 metres plus, and it hit the target flush on the chest, and it'll be another Blackbird scoring opportunity to put them once again in front through Heath O'Farrell.
I'm really interested in this duel between Sam Macaulay and Hughes. Of course, it all started there with Macaulay doing the spoil and Blackburn were away, but I think they're breaking even at the moment.
Heath O'Farrell from 40 metres. The shot on goal looks pretty good, and Blackburn once again regain the lead. They move on to 6-6-42, leading South Croydon 5-6-36 on the Bendigo Back scoreboard. That was his second, O'Farrell. Let's cross boundary side thanks to Akira Urgent Care.
Tell me.
Instead, let's go to the Choose Tap a Stats man, Grant Campbell.
Very even stat sheet this quarter, inside 50s, 9-8 in favour of South Croydon, and they've turned around the clearances. They lead at 9-7.
Great game we are seeing out here at Moreton Park. The home side just back in front. We've crossed time on. 21 minutes gone here in the second quarter. 6-6-42 plays 5-6-36. So both sides getting a lot of scoring shots on the board, Wayne Brasher.
Yeah, they are, and once again, we're just waiting for something to happen. Both sides look like threatening to blow the game open, but neither can.
Well, the umpire threw the ball up, no clear knockout there. Curtis was in there, charging through. There was Matthews, couldn't quite get it. Grattan Stevens, little short pass, finds Donnell across centre half forward. He's about 55 metres out from goal. The kick goes towards a huge direction, and he comes out and takes a good mark, 40 metres out, 45-degree angle, and it will certainly be the answer that the Doggies are looking for.
I touched on this matchup before, and I think whenever Hughes is on the lead, he's always got the advantage against Sam McCauley, but whenever it's an aerial contest, McCauley will always affect that ball and win one out.
Having a terrific second term is Daniel Hughes. He's already kicked one. Getting the Bronx cheers from McCauley on the mark. He leans over the ball. That is a beautiful kick. The goal umpire does not move. Second goal to Hughes, and the South Croydon Football Club square the ledger once again out here at Moreton Park as we cross the 22-minute mark of the second term. It is 6-6 apiece, 42.
Both sides, when they show composure and are able to deliver a ball and kick the ball to position, look fantastic. It's just a matter of who's going to take control, who's going to get that 5-minute burst.
I agree, Brash, and I think the biggest margin of this game so far has been when South Croydon nailed the first 2 goals of the match, and that was in the first couple of minutes of the first quarter.
Back at the centre, scores tied once again in this fluctuating contest as Otten gains the clearance for Blackburn. This could almost roll through. It does, but only for a minor score. That was from the centre of the ground. He gave that plenty of heave-ho, but he's put Blackburn in front by that margin. There's 6-7-43, leading the Bulldogs 6-6-42 on the Bendigo Bank scoreboard.
Osborne, short passes on, that's okay. Cuthbert takes it. Most at centre half back now, South Croydon. Goes out wide there to Anthony Descent. He'll switch it back in towards the middle of the goal square again. So doing it the long way here now, the Doggies, as they might now stretch to go down the middle of the ground. David King's on the receive of a handball. Turns himself into a lot of traffic here, but turned himself out of it. Stopped, propped, and kicked it across the face of goal. That was okay. Debney takes the mark.
I reckon they've gained all of about 2.5 metres in that exchange of 4.
Myers is screaming for it short across centre half back. Strawn creates a lead as well, where the kick goes up towards the wing position. That was a silly kick too, because right on the end of that was Fraser. Short pass inside forward, 50 or thereabouts. Going after it there was Ward. Snap on goal. This has gone through for one behind. The crowd behind got excited. So did a few here in the club rooms, but minor score is the result, and they have the lead, the Blackburn Football Club, by 2 points. They are 6-8-44, playing 6-6-42.
It's just been one of the flaws in Blackburn's game this afternoon, getting plenty of the ball but not being able to capitalise on opportunities, and that's all important in these late stages of the second quarter.
So Ben Osborne, the designated kicker for South Croydon, to bring it back into play. Chips the pass towards the outer side and finds a target on the half-back flank. They've been very effective in moving it forward on the outer side of the ground here, South Croydon. The kick looking for Stevens. He was caught behind. Blackburn have the numbers at the back. In the arms now of Bunn. Eventually gets the hand pass across the ground towards the boundary line. They eventually move it forward here for a great linkage and handball to Tui. Tui towards half forward. The kick looking there for Fraser. He couldn't quite take it on the slide, and eventually it's taken over the boundary line in the hands of Osborne, and will have a throw in 60 metres around from the Blackburn goal.
Brash, I think this afternoon we're seeing a lot of that class from Paul Bunn across the half back line. Of course, I think in 2011 he made one of the teams of the year.
Free kick's being paid. It's going South Croydon's way. They kick it across their defensive goal, and the mark has been taken by Debney, who certainly imposed himself in this second term in the action in terms of accumulating disposal. He chips the pass to King. The Bulldogs move it forward on the opposite wing now towards Eagle. The kick was well spoiled in the end by Lockor at the back for Blackburn. They had the numbers. Lockor is an option, but they wouldn't take him. Eventually it comes forward to Bunn. Bunn goes backwards to centre half back, and he finds a target to compose the play down, and it's Chris Clay. So Clay being opposed to by Eagle at the moment. Chips it short to Ralph, who's been a very damaging key player for Blackburn this year thus far. Looks for Otten. He dropped what he should have taken, but he had time to recover. Got the hand pass back to McCauley, and a brilliant pass, and outstretched on the lead. Another mark taken by Hammond, and he can go back and have a shot from just beyond the arc.
Once again, when you see clean disposal like Blackburn did, they moved across the ground in waves. All of a sudden, Otten gets onto the ball, pinpoints a pass, now another shot on goal.
So Jake Hammond has been a very damaging focal point in terms of creating opportunities for the Blackburn forwards. He fires from just outside the 50. The kick drifts off to the left, however, and it's only a minor score. So Blackburn increasingly increased their lead to 3 points. They're 6-9-45. South Croydon are 6-6-42 on the Bendigo Bank scoreboard.
I hate to use a term like this, but both sides are playing very careful football, I think. They're just not prepared to throw it around a bit.
Hope you're enjoying the broadcast on 98.1 Radio Eastern is streaming live on EFL.org.au as Ben Osborne kicks in. His intended target out there was Will Debney, and out of bounds on the full. The ball went as Sam Hudson now will bring it back in. Interesting do on the top of the scone of Sam Hudson, but he's been told by his teammates to have a shot on goal here, and we've already seen quite a good number of celebrations so far as Hudson pops it to the hot spot. It was a good kick on, was a big flyer in the back of the pack. It'll be the Doggies maybe to get a shot, to get a kick out, but the shot on goal that time by Blackburn went out of bounds on the full, and South Croydon will get a reprieve here.
I just think both sides will need to. Something's got to give in the second half for someone to break this game open.
Class always rises to the top, and as you mentioned, Brash, when they can link play together and get it up forward with clean ball movement, anything can happen.
Molnar takes it across centre half back, or half back. 27.5 minutes gone. Looks like the play's just slowing up a little bit here. We heard a second whistle. It was a downfield free kick, so much of a muchness there because Crow took the mark across centre half forward, and he's still free if they can spot him up here as the kick goes inside forward 50. Down there is Fraser there for the Blackburn side, knocked it away. Galings is there as well. The snap on goal by South Croydon. Bouncing football goes through for one behind. I couldn't quite see who got the ball there. So no one willing to put their hand up either to let me know who it was. So we'll have a boundary throw in. 20 metres out from goal. Coming through there was Hughes, tried to trap it as the siren sounds to end what was a fantastic first half on Anzac Day out here at Moreton Park. And at half time it is the home side, so a happy faithful here. 6-9-45 is the Blackburn Football Club. The visitors, who are South Croydon, are 6-6-42.
Well, you have a look at the first half, and both sides can probably look at it and say, yeah, we're still in the game. Both sides can say they rue some opportunities, Dan.
Oh, certainly. Both sides have had plenty of the ball, and they've both worked in bursts of momentum, as I mentioned earlier. At one point, it could be Blackburn has the momentum, they kick a goal, but then it'll be South Croydon who have had plenty of the ball too. They could kick one, but no side's really been able to string 2 or 3 goals together to really break this game open.
And I reckon the hardest thing, Dan, is who's looked the more impressive when they've had their opportunity, because both sides, when they have had the opportunity, they look fantastic. And as I just said a couple of minutes ago, they've been playing a lot of careful football where they're prepared to chip the ball around and hold on to possession. But, that can bring you undone, and it has.
2 goals to Hammond for the Blackburn Football Club, along with Heath O'Farrell, and the major goal kicker for South Croydon is Daniel Hughes with 2 goals in that second term. Hope you're enjoying the broadcast on 98.1 Radio Eastern. There are 3 other games happening out there today, but 2 of them are happening as we speak. Upper Ferntree Gully were trailing on Turner South at quarter time by 4 goals, whereas Mitcham were leading it by 2 against the Glen Waverley Hawks. Will Taylor will be back with all the half-time scores from those matches, so get excited, fans out there in the east, as we broadcast to you live from here from Moreton Park, 98.1 Radio Eastern.
How would you like your coffin to look?
I'd like it covered with farewell messages from all my friends and family.
Can I get a picture of a beautiful sunset over the 12 apostles?
Make mine look like a smartphone.
I'd like black with a yellow sash and the words to the team song as well.
For the Tobin Brothers funerals, anything is possible, including a custom designed and decorated coffin to celebrate your life. To find out more, visit tobinbrothers.com.au. Tobin Brothers Funerals, celebrating lives.
Program sponsor. What was wrong with you blokes yesterday? You were playing like you'd been stuck in traffic for an hour before getting to the game.
Coach, there was a railway crossing gate down for ages.
The other mob thrashed us. You ran out of legs.
They all have breeze tags, Coach. They use Eastlink. They get to focus on the match rather than focus on inching forward in the traffic.
Get a breeze tag and use Eastlink, the quickest way to get around Melbourne's East. Arrive fresher, play better. Eastlink, it's time better spent.
Program sponsor. Had an accident on the field? Head straight to Ikira Urgent Care for immediate medical treatment, and you won't have to wait. For a maximum of $75, we'll treat your broken bones, sprains, strains, cuts, or any other game day injuries. Walk in at 157 Scoresby Road, Baronia, or call us on 9839 3333. That's 9839 3333. Ikira Urgent Care. We have you off the sidelines in no time. Station sponsor.
Radio Eastern 98.1. It's 16 after 3. Jonathan and Barracott's back here in the studio, and we'll return for the Pie Shed halftime show, covering the big Division 1 game this afternoon as part of Anzac Day, Blackburn versus South Croydon from Moreton Park. Now, there's another important game on today at the MCG, and of course it's the big one, and that's of course against Essendon and Collingwood, and it's the end of the first quarter, and Essendon have got underway well. At quarter time, it's Essendon 5-4-34 is leading the Pies. 3 behinds, 3 points. All single goal kickers for Essendon. Danaher, Ryder and Stanton have 1 each, and major possessions for Essendon at this stage. After the first quarter, Stanton 14 and Apple 10, and for Collingwood, Blue and Beans have 9 each. And what a beautiful day it is in Melbourne's outer east. It's currently sitting on 20 degrees, and the Bureau forecast for tomorrow, Saturday, is a clearing shower and 18, and also Sunday, increasing sunshine and 18, Monday a cloudy day at 21, and Tuesday rain and 19. We'll be back in just a moment with the Pie Shed halftime show right here on EFL Game Day.
For all things EFL, The Huddle.
EFL.org.au is a must visit for the die-hard Eastern Football League fan. In our news section, check out the latest news, feature articles and video programs, including the Friday preview. Have your say in the EFL poll, tip against your mates in the Vibromania tipping competition, and voice your opinion on the mighty EFL forum. Best of all, you can listen back to any EFL radio program at any time. To go live and local for your footy, head to EFL.org.au. Own a smartphone and love the Eastern Football League? Then the EFL mobile web app is a must for you. Go to m.efl.org.au to access fixtures, results and ladders for all EFL grades. You can also receive live around-the-ground scores every Saturday afternoon right from the palm of your hand. And contribute to the mighty EFL forum while you're online. Download the EFL mobile web app to go live and local for your footy this season right from the palm of your hand.
In footy, the best players always get tagged. In Melbourne, the best and cheapest way to get around the tollways is to get your car tagged. That's because a Breeze account works on Eastlink and it works on CityLink too. A tag's also the cheapest way to use Eastlink and CityLink. So open your Breeze account online at eastlink.com.au and start winning as a tagger today. Speaking of winning, my team's a sure thing for 4 points today and maybe the premiership. Come on up, that was in the back. Eastlink, it's time better spent, like at the footy. Program sponsor.
For the best EFL rap on radio, don't miss Akira EFL Sunday from 10 till 12 every Sunday morning on 98.1 Radio Eastern. Ben Warren Smith and the team bring you all final scores, goal kickers, best players and ladders following a big round of EFL footy. The gang also talk to winning coaches, players and special guests to bring you the final scores from all seniors, reserves and under-19s matches. Akira EFL Sunday, going live and local for your footy from 10 every Sunday on 98.1 Radio Eastern.
EFL Saturday Game Day continues. Let's head back and go local for your footy.
Welcome back to Moreton Park here in Blackburn, and what a brilliant day for football. We know how important Anzac Day is, but this is just a fantastic spectacle, and it hasn't the game just brought that little bit extra at the moment. At the moment, Blackburn lead 6-9-45 to South Croydon 6-6-42. Welcome, of course, to the Pie Shed halftime show. My name's Dyson Baker. The Pie Shed's pies are absolutely delicious, combining fresh meats and vegetables with just the right combination of herbs and spices. The Pie Shed offers 40 variety varieties of pies with a reputation second to none. Make sure you go and see Mark at the team at 295 Canterbury Road, Bayswater, or call them on 9720 7711. Grant, where was it won and lost in that second term thanks to Choose Tap?
Well, if you look at the scoreboard and how close it is, it's probably not surprising that the stats are very similar in all categories. The contested possessions won by Blackburn 34 to 30. The uncontested possessions were won by South Croydon 38 to 37, and that was a reversal of the first quarter when South Croydon won the contested ball, but Blackburn won the uncontested ball by 23. Inside 50s were 13 to 10 in favour of Blackburn. Marks inside 50 is always a good indicator. Blackburn won that 5 to 4. Again, very little difference. 10 of the 12 goals so far have come from set shots, so look at that stat. There's heavily swaying one way or another in the second half. That could determine the game, but as it stands, I think we're probably no closer in working out who's going to actually win this match.
Yeah, you know, they started 0-0 at the first bounce, and Blackburn are only 3 points up at half time, and I really can't split them at the moment. Brash, you spoke a lot during that first half about one side being able to break a game open, and it seemed that both sides during the first two quarters have played 5 and 10 minute bursts. South Croydon got out of the gates, kicked the first two, and looked like it looked really ominous for Blackburn. Blackburn came back, got on even pegging, then South Croydon went again. Blackburn kicked the last of the first quarter, and we were even at quarter time.
I think one of the things, Dyson, here, what it actually has shown, that when you line these two sides up at this particular stage of the season, they're they're just as even as what we were hoping for. And
similar game styles as well. I've noticed that no one's really wanting to just stop, prop and think about things. It's playing at all costs. It's use the middle of the ground, and both sides have obviously got those hit-up forwards that have been key so far.
I think that when both sides have been able to dictate the turns, and when they've both been able to use their plays and bring their plays in on the spread, both sides have shown that when they can move the ball, they can kick the ball to position. They're both capable of playing really good quality football.
Goal kickers for the first term, I'll run through them. For South Croydon, 2 goals to Hughes, singles to the captain Daniel King, Jason Eagle, Robbie Mallison and David King. Well, Anthony Fagan, Heath O'Farrell and also Aaron Hatton have goals for the Burners. It's really an interesting contest. You spoke about how even it is and things like that, but no side has been able to gain the ascendancy on any part of the ground. You'd expect it at some stage, even in a close game, that Blackburn might have looked good in the midfield or something like that. But there's no winners on the ground at the moment.
There isn't. Probably the only winner that I could see is probably James Crowell. I think James Crowell has done a fantastic job on Ben Fraser. But that being said, Ben Fraser still hasn't stopped presenting, but he just hasn't been able to present in the right areas of the ground that's been able to hurt the South Croydon Football Club. But James Crowell, like I said, I think he's certainly the best player on the ground at this particular stage. But I think neither side has been able to take ownership of the corridor. Both sides have been prepared to wait for to chip the ball around and wait for that right time when to utilise further players up the ground. But at times it's brought them undone and created some ugly turnovers.
You spoke about a couple of players in the Blackburn forward line. I'll transfer you across to the South Croydon forward line, and 2 forwards in Eagle and Hughes who are slowly looking to try and get on top. They've probably got the right matchup in terms of size, Blackburn, but they're just not quite staying with them at the moment. And I mean, Hughes has only got 1. Hughes has got 2. Eagle's got 1. It just seems like those are the guys that could break the game open late.
At the moment, if you're actually just looking at the two power forwards of both sides, South Croydon look the more threatening with their 2 guys. What they've got to do is they've got to try and isolate them and try and get them out on the lead. Both players have shown that when they're out on the lead, that they certainly are hurting the Blackburn players. I think both the Blackburn defenders like the ball sitting up in the air where they can come from behind and do the spoiling type tactics. and I think that the South Croydon forwards are much better on the run, leading into position.
How vital was it? I mean, I know he hasn't had a massive impact so far in today's game. How important was it that Blackburn didn't drop their bundle when Kyle Matthews was sent off for 15 minutes with the yellow card?
I think that really, I think that was important, because at times you've got to sometimes.
He seems to be doing a lot of things off the ball as well.
Yeah, maybe he might be a little frustrated that look, a player comes down from a higher competition, right? And I always think that they put themselves under unnecessary pressure, Dyson, because they think that in their own mind they should be coming out and dominating every Saturday. And when things don't start to happen for them, all of a sudden the frustration creeps in. But Blackburn, I think most sides now have moved on, from dropping their bundle. They realise that it's just part and parcel of the game, and that sometimes you're going to get caught in the crossfire. But I didn't think they dropped their bundle. I just thought Blackburn, when he went off, the players just gritted their teeth, and for that 5 minutes, they just actually got themselves back into the game.
Just quickly, if you're a fan of the red and black of the Essendon variety, it's a 37-point lead to Essendon at the MCG over Collingwood. Speaking of the flip side of the midfield, Dan King's slowly starting to make an impact, and I think he's another guy for South. They've probably got three, the two big key forwards, and him are the three guys who can really make an impact during the second half.
Yeah, also you probably could put Grattan Stevens, and I think he's broken even with Curtis in the ruck. In fact, I think Grattan's probably on top there. They just haven't been able. It was a bit like watching Simon Taylor last week. In control, but unable to take advantage of his ball use.
Yeah. Interesting in terms of where these two sides are going to go at. Who wins it from here, Brash?
I still think Blackburn will win. I think they've got to try and find a way of bringing Fraser into the game, and I think one of the ways that they could do that is maybe by isolating him down at full forward, like they have done in the past, and open the forward line and kick the ball long to him, because he has shown that he can take a mark, but he also can kick a goal from outside 50.
Exactly right. Will Taylor, some of the around the ground scores. Bit of a one-sided affair at the moment, although Upper Ferntree Gully are staying right in it.
Yeah, 1-2 South at half-time, 6-3-39. Upper Ferntree Gully 3-4-22, so 17-point lead there. 2-1 Turner South. Then Upper Gully actually won that quarter 3-2. So at the moment, the Upper Ferntree Gully trailing by 17 points, and still about halfway through so almost into time on in the game out at Mitcham, and Mitcham have had 8 unanswered goals to 2, and they lead 11-9, 75 to 4-3, 27 lead into half-time.
Well, we said in the warm-up that it was going to be either a close game with Waverley Hawks getting over the top, or it was going to be a pretty convincing win to Mitcham, and I think it's looking that way, Brash.
Yeah, it is, and it's the second half to go, and Mitcham are pretty. When you look at, I've been doing some study of them. They seem to power in the second half. It could get ugly at Walker this afternoon.
Absolutely. Of course, Chris Hogle has scored 2 goals in the second quarter so far. Stevie Pym has 2. Jaden Hogle has 1. Lucas Murray has 1. And Robert Petrarca has 1 for Mitcham in the second half.
As we said,
all the big names.
As we said at the start, they've got 8 to 10 goal kickers, so they can run through the lines, and any one of those 5, there's about 5 or 6 guys that are capable of kicking multiple goals, 3 plus.
As both these sides start to make their way out onto Moreton Park. We'll take a short break. This has been the Pie Shed Halftime Show. Don't forget to go and see Mark at the team at 295 at Canterbury Road in Bayswater. We'll call them on 9720 7711. We'll be back with the second half here on EFL Game Day.
How would you like your coffin to look?
I think maybe my wedding photo would look good.
Like HNAS Melbourne. I spent the best years of my life on that ship.
Oh, a picture of me and the kids from when I was younger and they were babies.
Lots of pretty flowers.
For the Tobin Brothers funerals, anything is possible, including a custom-designed and decorated coffin to celebrate your life. To find out more, visit tobinbrothers.com.au. Tobin Brothers Funerals, celebrating lives.
Program sponsor.
It can be difficult booking an appointment with your GP when you need medical care urgently. But at Akira Urgent Care, Australia's first walk-in medical and emergency clinic, you don't need an appointment and you don't have to wait. Walk in at 157 Scoresby Road, Baronia, or call us on 9839 3333. That's 9839 3333. Akira Urgent Care. We'll have you off the sidelines in no time. Station sponsor.
What was wrong with you blokes yesterday? You were playing like you'd been stuck in traffic for an hour before getting to the game.
Coach, there was a railway crossing gate down for ages.
The other mob thrashed us. You ran out of legs.
They all have breeze tags, Coach. They use Eastlink. They get to focus on the match rather than focus on inching forward in the traffic.
Get a breeze tag and use Eastlink, the quickest way to get around Melbourne's East. Arrive fresher, play better. Eastlink, it's time better spent.
Program sponsor.
Radio Eastern 98.1, Barry Cott's back in the studio, and a quick score from the MSCG, the game between Essendon and Collingwood, and as Dyson Baker alluded to earlier, Essendon have a big lead. It's currently the 8-minute mark of the second quarter, and it's Essendon 6-4-40 leading Collingwood 1-4-10.
For all things EFL, The Huddle.
Good evening, Eastern Football League lovers. One of the punishments is you've got to get a spray tan the Friday night before a game. Oh, nice. Wash all the jumpers, and of course he is Glenn Archer, and welcome to the program tonight. G'day, Glenn.
G'day, guys. How you going?
If it was up to Dino, he's winning the league, BNF. How much longer we've got to see Stewie Wine going around in the Eastern Football League?
Probably about 1/4.
6 p.m. every Wednesday on 98.1 Radio Eastern.
For all the latest news and information on the Eastern Football League, make sure you check out our website, www.efl.org.au.
EFL Saturday Game Day continues. Let's head back and go local for your footy.
Welcome back to Moreton Park here on EFL Game Day in this match of the day, Anzac Day footy. Great round 3 action in Division 1 as you go local for your footy. Blackburn, the home side, currently lead narrowly in a ripping contest over South Croydon. It's the Panthers 6-9-45 leading at the Doggies 6-6-42 by a slender margin of 3 points. Brash, how did you see that first half?
Oh, I saw the first half as a very tight contest, both sides willing and able, but it's going to come down to who can break the game open. It's got to be, someone's going to have a 10-minute patch, Damien, where they can take control of the game. If they can take control of the game, they'll win the game.
Good point there, Brash. Let's head to Will Taylor for some more around the ground scores.
Yeah, quarter time there, Damo, and well, bad news for the Glen Waverley Hawks. Mitcham 12-9-81 now to Glen Waverley Hawks 4-3-27, so a 9-goal lead in that game. As Damo, you can take us away for the third quarter.
Indeed, it's the second half from Moreton Park as we get back underway. Stevens won the tap, trying to crash his way through. There was Mulder for South Croydon. Eventually it comes back to Stevens, kick towards centre wing into the path of Crow. Can he keep it in play? Yes, he can. Manages to stop, prop, find the target in Mulder. It went through his hands. The kick was a bit too crude for him. Blackburn have the numbers on the wing. A good tackle effected by King. The umpire's blown the whistle and allowed play to go on. Try to claim the advantage. The umpire will call it back. It'll be a Blackburn free kick into the arms there of James McFarlane. So McFarlane from centre wing. It was a shocking kick off the boot. That right foot as he tried to wheel around. O'Farrell's hand pass was ill-directed. A good tackle effected on Tui there for South Croydon by a couple of players. That will be a ball up 45 metres out from Blackburn's goal. They're doing the attacking, the bulk of the attacking early in this second half. So Ralph wins the tap. South Croydon have the numbers on ground level. The hand pass comes out into the direction there of Myers. Couldn't quite take it. Now the Burners have the numbers. Hand pass comes back from Curtis. Swung around by McFarlane. Sent it towards full forward. Hand pass came out. A good tackle dumped there for Blackburn was Banfield. And South Croydon could clear onto the outer side. Good tackle effected there by Bung. Falls to ground level. Kept in play. No, it wasn't there from Donnell. The boundary umpire was on the spot. And we'll have a throw in right in front of the interchange benches there on that outer side as Blackburn hold on gridly to their 3-point lead.
So the umpire brings it back into play now. Clearance will come now through the arms there of Hudson. Got handball backwards and picked up there by Daniel King on the right boot. Squeezes the kick up towards the half-forward line, but to no avail. So another chance there through Faulkner for Blackburn. There's a skew-looking kick and went straight into the middle of the ground and was chopped off there by Glenn Strawn. He'll switch the ball out wide, making his teammate work very hard for it as he swings around, kicks it to the hot spot about 20 metres out from goal. Hughes has a back spot and he takes an absolute ripper mark. He judged it perfectly, the big man, and he'll go back and have a shot on goal from about 40 metres out directly in front, shooting for his third.
Really good contested mark there by Daniel Hughes. He's working himself into the game very nicely.
In fact, sorry Brash, it is Jason Eagle.
Sorry, Jason Eagles.
The man with the sleeve of what you were so impressed with. He'll come in now and he leans over the ball and he kicks it straight over the goal. Umpire said that is his second goal, and that gives the lead back to the South Croydon Football Club. Bendigo back scoreboard as we cross the 3-minute mark of the third term. They are 7 goals, 6-48, a 3-point lead over Blackburn, who are 6-9-45.
One of the hallmarks of Jason Eagle's game today has been his positioning, especially when the ball's coming inside 50 long and fast. I noticed on occasions he's been getting goal side, and on that occasion he's backed his judgment and read the flight of the ball just so well.
So Jason Eagle with his second major for the afternoon, regaining the lead for South Croydon. Of course, he kicked 8 goals in round 1 for the Bulldogs as we get back underway in the centre of the ground. Blackburn with the clearance, but a kick ball from O'Farrell. Chance now for South Croydon, racing back on it was Crowell. His hand pass, ill-directed and intercepted by Hatton. Through the middle they go. A shot on goal comes from play. Sits sail towards home, and that sends the home crowd into raptures. And Blackburn regain the lead once again. They move on to 7-9-51, leading South Croydon 7-6-48. It's just a game of fluctuation, Brash.
Goal for goal.
Yeah, it was, and the captain had a big say in that goal. Really good tackle there by Ben Fraser. He got the ball loose, handed the ball off. Clay was in the right position to take possession of the ball and slammed it through for a lovely goal.
I think this is where Blackburn can really take control of the game. The coach said they like to play fast footy, so the clearances combined with fast footy can really hurt South Croydon.
High throws the ball back up. It was Ralph versus Stevens at the full of ball. McFarlane for Blackburn tried to get boot on ball. They scramble a kick though. The doggies up towards the half-forward line. It's a bouncing football. It'll go all the way down there. Gaylings picked the ball up. He got wrapped up quickly in a tackle. The umpire will come in and bounce it about 40 metres out now from the Blackburn goal line, the South Croydon goal line, I should say.
So the ball up, tap one by Eagle into space. Chance here for the Dogs. The hand pass comes back eventually to Myers to try and work it out. A brilliant tackle effected there by McFarlane for Blackburn, and he'll receive the free kick. So once again that pressure paying dividends in this game as McFarlane goes across his defensive goal, finds an option at full back, and the Burners declare brilliant smother effected by Donnell, and it forced the turnover and eventually a boundary throw in deep in the forward pocket for the Bulldogs. That's almost a game changer. Blackburn on the way out, they keep it in their forward line, the Dogs.
Lucky that they dodged the ball there, Blackburn.
So the throw in, Donnell with a magnificent smother, could set up an attack here. Eagle won the tap from the back against Ralph, but Blackburn have the numbers at ground level and they can stream forward once again. Hand pass comes from Fagan, inboard to O'Farrell, sends a ball hoisted high towards centre half forward, but in front was Liam Cox. Takes the mark for the Dogs. He looks out wide and finds King on centre wing of the David variety. King sends it towards half forward, a brilliant spoil effected there for Blackburn, forcing it over the line, and a bit of a how do you do there between those two players. That was McCauley with the spoil.
So the umpire brings the ball back in. Ralph almost went up unattended there. King let the fall the ball, couldn't quite pick it up. Scrambling kick up towards the Fraser direction and needs to bounce favourably for him. That was okay. Got the handball to Fagan. Now they're moving their way through the middle of the ground. Oh, that was beautifully picked up there that time by the player in Strawn. Got the handball over the top. There's a few sloppy possessions of getting people in trouble here as O'Farrell got the ball up for Blackburn. Handball backwards. The kick goes up towards the Otten direction. So too there is Matthews. If the ball can sit favourably for him, he's got 2 doggies on his hammer, and the 2 doggies win out too as the handball goes over the top. It goes towards the Strawn direction, sits up for him. He'll swing on the left inside forward 50. That is a beautiful looking kick over the back of the pack. Will they be able to have the numbers? Down there is Marshall. Couldn't get boot to ball. Did he get boot to ball? Fantastic play. It scrambled through. That's a 6-pointer. Doggies once again they moved the ball nicely forward. Damien Watson, you look like you're in astonishment out there looking at that crowd.
But
a fantastic goal to once again again put the Doggies back in front. They are 8 goals, 6, playing 7-9-51 as we cross to Grant Campbell thanks to Choose Stat Match Stats.
Well, the clearances are going to be important again. 4 apiece so far. Inside 50s, 3-2 in favour of South Croydon. And of the intercept marks, 2-1 to South Croydon. So a couple of turnovers early in this quarter.
So once again the lead changes, this time in the favour of the Dogs, and it's Stevens who wins the tap out for the Bulldogs. King got a soccer off the ground. That was the David variety again, chasing after it there. Myers eventually is picked up by Donnell, chips the pass inboard, looking there at the Eagle direction. He couldn't quite take it. Great evasion there, and the shot on goal doesn't swing back enough. Only a minor score for the Dogs. They're pressing 8-7-55. They lead Blackburn 7-9-51 on the Bendigo Bank scoreboard.
Damo, there's a sense of urgency in both sides now. You know, the game's right up for grabs here.
Certainly is. Paul Bunn will be the designated kicker for the Blackburn Footy Club from full-back. Again, South Croydon have time to set up their zone. So Paul Bunn, who's been an impressive figure, I must say, in defence for the Blackburn side as he kicks it out wide at the mark, backing back Sam McCauley on the half-back flank in front of King. They're just trying to compose themselves. We've seen this on a number of occasions this afternoon from Blackburn, trying to slow down possession. The kick was wayward, and eventually the mark, was it taken in the field of play? No, it wasn't. Descent trying to claim it, but it'll be a ball in right in front of the South Croydon interchange bench here at Morton Park. So the throw in once again, Ralph contesting against Stevens. Stevens won the tap down to Mulder at ground level. Mulder hacks it towards centre half forward, looking there for King. He couldn't quite take it. The umpires picked out a free kick, and it's going the way of South Croydon to the chagrin of the Blackburn supporters. And the free kick, the recipient, will be taken by the Doggy skipper and Daniel King.
Huge kick for goal this. It will make the margin 10 points, and I don't think the margin's blown out to more than a couple of goals all day. So you wouldn't want it in anyone else's hands bar Dan King.
He was held off the play, and that was the reason why he has this shot on goal now from 45 metres. Wheels onto the right foot, doesn't quite bring it back enough. It'll be a one behind score that faded off to the right. So South Croydon again peppering the goals. They move on to 8-8-56, leading Blackburn 7-9-51. Bendigo Bank scoreboard.
17-point lead to One Turner South at half-time over Upper Ferntree Gully, in a big lead of 9 goals from Mitcham over the Glen Waverley Hawks as Blackburn make their way down towards the big position through Hatton. Got a handball back inside. Very dangerous football here across the half-forward line. The expected umpire might come in here and bounce it. Hatton goes after it again, brought to ground, and will have a bounce about 55 metres out from the Blackburn goals.
The last 5 minutes, Dan, have seen South Croydon take control of it.
Oh, certainly a goal is just reward. What they need now.
Step around the body there by Cox to the forward pocket, bouncing football, and over the boundary line it goes. So it'll be out of bounds on the full for Blackburn to bring the ball back in now.
Yeah, it appears Bum will be the recipient of the kick deep in the back pocket there for the Panthers.
There's Bunn, kicks up towards the Curtis direction. The big man's got a fly, standing strong in front though was Mallison, gets a little handball off now on the left boot, kicks a skew with kick up towards the half forward line. David King takes the mark inside forward 50. That's a good lead. Coming out and taking it is Jason Eagle, and he'll have another shot on goal to stretch the lead out here for South Croydon to 11 points as he winds around now on the left boot. He opened up the goal face. He set sail for goal, but he pushed it to the right hand side and certainly got a lot of Bronx cheers from the Blackburn faithful as he put that one through for a minor score. And on the Bendigo Bank scoreboard as we cross the 10.5-minute mark of his third term, it is South Croydon leading at one straight kick, 8-9, play 7-9.
I think it might be Locko playing on Eagle at the moment. Someone needs to give him a chop out, because every time Eagle goes near the ball he's imposing and he just needs a hand.
Do you think they need a double team in Brash?
No, definitely not. But at the moment, South Croydon are enjoying a purple patch. They can't put it on the scoreboard.
Indeed, as Bump brings it back into play for the Panthers, looks out wide. It was a well-directed ball. It was pinpoint, and the mark taken on the outer side. So they have the numbers here, Blackburn, as they look to bring it around the boundary line. Not much happening in the corridor. Chip pass comes to Fagan, who's had a lot of the football, particularly since quarter time. The chip pass found the target in the end. The mark taken by Heath O'Farrell. Farrell kicked 3 goals in the elimination final for Port Melbourne last year against Collingwood in the VFL. Almost single-handedly won that game for the Borough. He kicked towards half.
Maxi.
And Max Otten takes the mark. Wheels round onto the left foot. Set sail for home. Has it got the legs? Yes, it it does. Blackburn draw level again. They move on to 8-9-57. South Croydon with the same scoreline on the Bendigo Bank scoreboard. We're 11 minutes into this third term.
Maxon once again, just when you need someone to impose himself on the game, he just puts on the afterburners. Lovely kick for goal.
Hasn't he been a fantastic recruit for Blackburn? Of course, he spent some time on the Sydney Swans list, and he's come to Blackburn this year and he's been fantastic.
He's certainly an imposing player, Max Otten. A lot of the ball in the first half, but he can also be a damaging player as well. As the umpire restarts the ball in the middle, it'll be a free kick to Blackburn going the way of Tyler Curtis in the middle of the ground. Gets a little handball away to Fagan, up towards a half-forward line, towards that man again. Max Otten couldn't quite pull down the mark, almost caught one in the head. The umpire said it was play on. Kick goes inside forward 50. Matthews has a front spot knocked over nicely there by Eddie. Came into the arms there of Myers, and now the doggies will be able to get away. Myers got the 1-2 handball in the middle of the ground. It was a little bit of a hospital handball, but Curtis, the big man, got the handball away. Blackburn streaming towards goal. The kick to the top of the goal square. Guess who? Max Otten comes out and takes a mark about 10 metres out from goal.
I think it might be Fraser.
It is. It's Ben Fraser. Sorry. And the big man, they do look alike, although one is wearing orange boots, one is wearing white, and Ben, wanting to get into the game, is the man wearing the white boots, and he straightened himself up very, very nicely from point blank range. Ben Fraser, he made the umpire work very hard for it. It was a sloppy kick, but it's gone through the big sticks. It pulled nearly everybody out here at Moreton Park, but Ben Fraser gets his first goal on the board, and the lead goes now back to the Blackburn Football Club by 1 goal.
Well, South Croydon had the first 10 minutes. All of a sudden, within 2 minutes, Blackburn are back in town, Dan.
Oh, and Ben Fraser, of course, we mentioned in the first half, he's had a very quiet first half, but that's what champions do. They come in and out of games, and no better time than the third quarter and the second half to be able to do that.
So again, Blackburn, the pendulum swinging in their favour. It's been swinging from one end to the other all afternoon. The Panthers capitalising. They lead by one straight kick. Ben Fraser with his first major of the afternoon, now getting into the game as we get underway once again from the centre. Stevens won the tap for South Croydon. A brilliant tackle effected there by King, forces a secondary bounce.
I think the Dogs at the moment just look a lot more daring than Blackburn, despite there being only 1 goal in it.
Well, Blackburn have the momentum in the last couple of minutes. Fagan tried to kick it out of the pack. Again, a scramble. We'll have another stoppage right in the centre of Moreton Park.
It's been a great contest all day, Damo.
Absolutely. Hard to pick a winner at the moment, boys. No. Stevens won the tap again at ground level. Mulder couldn't pick it up. Running onto the football there is Myers. He was claimed by Fagan. Dave in, gave the football away. Now the Panthers on the rebound from 55 metres. Kick towards full forward at the back. Almost held there the mark by Brooker. Coming through there for South Croydon was Cox. Eventually it comes forward. Back it comes to Crowell. They're under pressure, under immense pressure. Crowell got it back again from the back pocket. Kicks towards centre wing. Looking for King at the back. He judges it the better and is played the mark.
Did he have enough of it, Brash?
Yeah, just enough.
So the reigning Chandler medalist, Daniel King, looks towards half forward. Mulder backing back with the fly to the footy. Couldn't quite take the mark. He's in trouble too, as we have a throw in 75 around for the South Croydon goal.
One of the things when the ball came into the full forward line there just a minute ago, Blackburn didn't have someone front and square. If they did, they were away with a goal.
Ball once again back into play. There's Stevens to contest at the front for South Croydon against Curtis. Eventually falls down to ground level. Picked up in the end, trying to barge his way through was Ferraccio. He couldn't quite take it. Falls to ground level. Plenty of players on top of it, and we'll have a bounce in the end. About 45 metres around for the South Croydon goal. They are pressing very gradually. So the ball up. Stevens stayed down and won the tap. A couple of Blackburn players pounce on top of it. And the umpire, I think, has picked out a free kick, and it's going the Panthers' way, and they'll clear it for their defensive half.
For those of you interested in the Anzac Day clash out at the MCG, it is 25 minutes through the second quarter, and it is Collingwood leading by a goal. It is Essendon leading by a goal after opening up a 6-goal lead there in the first term. So back to Moreton Park as the kick goes up towards the Fraser direction. He's got a wall of doggies to beat him. Stevens over the back of the pack. The big ruckman got the handball away, but Blackburn have the numbers of the fall. The ball. The kick goes on Goldwood over the top, bouncing football. It was wanted for Jake Hammond. He's already kicked 2, but over the boundary, over for a behind, I should say, Damo. The kick coming from Brooker. So South Croydon, another chance to reload. Eddie elects to use the far side of the ground, spots out his teammate in Will Debney. Short passes on again, so they'll do it slowly. Ben Osborne is usually the general who kicks in. Got options in Cuthbert. Elects to go forward. The mark's been taken out there by Daniel Hughes, so moved a fair way up the ground. Kicked 2 goals this afternoon. Hughes, short passes on. So clean skills are working themselves up further afield here, South Croydon, as the kick there by Marshall over the top in bits and pieces. This has worked out well as the driving ball goes inside forward 50, bouncing football. Crowds there at the back of the pack. The ball's bouncing over the boundary line and out of bounds, and we'll have a boundary throw in left forward pocket down the South Croydon end.
Once again, South Croydon moved the ball well from the back line, but can bemoan the fact again that their disposal into the forward line didn't hit a target.
Just crossing the 17-minute mark of this all-important third term. The kick out of the pack from kick towards goal didn't have enough juice on it, and Blackburn to clear for their defensive half. It was a shocking kick, went straight down the throat of Descent. There was no direction in that whatsoever, and Descent could chip the pass short, and he finds his intended target there in Daniel Hughes, and he can go back and have a shot from a fair distance out at a fairly acute angle to contend with.
They're doing all the hard work at the moment, South Croydon, so a goal here is needed.
So Daniel Hughes being named the best player for South Croydon in their opening 2 games of season 2014. He's currently scored 2 goals with his name written all over it. He shoots from 45 metres. Brilliant looking kick off the boot. The goal umpire didn't have to move very much, and that's a team lifter for South Croydon. They draw within a point of Blackburn, and the score on the Bendigo Bank scoreboard sees Blackburn 9-10-64 lead by a solitary point to South Croydon 9-9-63. What a ripper that was.
Great kick by Daniel Hughes. 2 minutes ago he's up taking the ball on the half-back line, ran the line down the middle to the half-forward line to get on the end of that pass once again, and rewarded with a fantastic goal.
He's been sensational all day on the lead, Daniel Hughes. He's kicked 3 goals, of course, and that's a third of the Doggies' score.
Grant Campbell, thanks to Choose Tap Match Stats.
Inside 50s, 9-6 in favour of South Croydon. South Croydon had 4 more kicks and Blackburn 4 more handballs this quarter.
Back to a 1-point ball game. It is Blackburn leading this one by that one solitary point. 64 plays 63, just waiting for the football to return back in from...
How do you see Kyle Matthews game? I've seen him, he seems to be struggling a bit.
He's been a bit quiet today, I think, Kyle Matthews. I think he's been well held.
I didn't think that 15 minutes on the sideline helped him out. I think it robbed him of his momentum. He seems to be in 6s and 7s and running to all the wrong positions at the moment.
That's right. Well, it seems that Doggy Faithful may have run off with this goal in celebration after getting back to within 1 point. So we'll be waiting for another football to make its way onto the field.
One of the unique intricacies of local footy, BWS, the ball getting lost in the car park.
Well, hang on, I've just seen it from the left. It certainly was down from that Doggy Faithful end in the pocket, so no one wanting to relinquish, but eventually mates looking after mates on a day like this, as Zach Day says, give it back and do the right thing. So yes, we'll be able to restart this game very shortly. Almost time on here in the Premiership quarter, as they call it, the third term. 1-point ball game. The stage is set. Stephen got the knockdown that time against Curtis. Blackburn will be able to get the spoils here as he goes after it again. Curtis kick out towards the Fagan direction. Ball's got to sit up for him. He'll be able to trap it inside the line. On the left boot, goes inside forward 50. He was looking for Hudson over the top of his head. Ball bounces away, seen over the boundary line by Debney, and we'll have a boundary throw in.
One of the things the Dogs have done really well this quarter, might have changed a bit, but early on they broke even with Blackburn in the clearances, which they really struggled with in the first half.
So Stephen will go up against Ralph, the 2 big men. Stephen knocked down that time. Go for the safety of the boundary line, picked up there by Ward, tried to break it, 2 tackles. The umpire said he didn't have prior opportunity, so he'll hand the football back.
I'm telling you, there's no clear winner here yet.
Certainly isn't. Curtis over the top, could have nearly given away a free kick, but they got the numbers here. Blackburn, O'Farrell scoops on it, snaps around the body, O'Farrell. That is goal at A so far on the Bendigo Bank scoreboard. Blackburn stretch their lead to a 7-point margin. 10 goals, 10, 70 plays 9-9-63. They've been good at the stoppage. That's his third.
O'Farrell just knows when to run into the right places at the right time. He's been he's playing in the middle, but he just seems to know to run into the right places to be really on the ball, Dan.
He's read the play really well today, and I think Blackburn in this quarter, they've really locked down on that Bulldogs side. But what O'Farrell's been able to do, as you mentioned, Brass, is position himself well, and he always had eyes for the footy in that situation and a snap kick.
The next goal is crucial, I reckon.
So O'Farrell with his third major maintains the 7-point marker for Blackburn as we head back into the middle. Niver Ruckman won the tap. Matthews trying to sprint clear. His kick was smothered by Stevens. Came off the ground. Mark taken by Fagan fortuitously. Kicks into the pocket. The mark taken, almost taken by Ralph. Coming over to meet it was Hudson, trying to paddle it, trying to keep it in play.
Oh, no!
Great evasion. Step around the corner on the outside of the boot. Nelson to score. So Blackburn 10-11-71 lead South Croydon 9-9-63 at an emotion-charged Moreton Park.
Up-and-coming player Sam Hudson showed all the skills there, just not rewarded at the last minute.
Osborne's got Cuthbert short, as he does King. Elects to go to the skipper. So they're still in their defensive arc, South Croydon. Short passes on. Descent, who might go back to King here. He does now. King now over the top, put Osborne under a little bit of pressure, but he did have space, Ben. Now swings around on the left boot, drives the ball up towards the wing position, coming over the back and knocking it away there nicely. Blackburn over the boundary line. She goes for a boundary throw in, true centre wing position, far side of Moreton Park.
Who do you reckon to be more satisfied, Dan? Danfield or Damien Franken?
I reckon Damien Franken at the moment. Dogs are working so hard all over the ground.
So the ball in on centre wing. Stevens wins the tap and roves his own footy, but he's claimed by a couple of Panthers and will have yet another stoppage.
Having said that though, Brash, earlier in the quarter the Dogs held the ascendancy, right? But Blackburn are finding themselves in that position where a goal here is dangerous for the Bulldogs.
Ball up on centre wing. Stevens won the tap. Matthews' kick was smothered. Picking it up eventually was Mulder. He was claimed in the tackle brilliantly there by Macaulay. Eventually falls to ground level. Tried to sprint through there was Fagan and tapped it to his own advantage. Now the Burners can stream forward. Kick into the pocket. A driving ball. No one's there at the back. Can it bounce through for a goal? No, it won't. It's deep in the pocket.
Good result there for Blackburn. Really good result. They get a stoppage in their forward 50.
That was Brooker with the driving kick forward. So the Panthers in their attacking half, they lead by 8 points. As Brash mentioned, a very important stage of this game. Time on in the third term. See if they can gain the ascendancy. Tap one by Ralph in the ruck. And pass eventually driving through was Tui. He was gang tackled and will have a bounce deep inside the Panthers forward line.
We've seen that all day, haven't we? The Doggies just gang tackling those Blackburn men, pressuring them into making mistakes.
Throws it up, Ralph over the back of the pack. It was nicely fisted away that time there by Eddie. Got it out of that danger zone, so to speak. Centre half forward. Matthews went in a little bit too crudely. It'll be a free kick, much to the chagrin of the Blackburn faithful. As coming through now is Myers in the middle of the ground. Gets a lovely looking kick out towards the half forward line, taken there by Hughes. He has a bounce, swings back around onto the right foot. Does Hughes helicopter punt style kick towards the forward pocket, bouncing football. He was looking for Eddie, but the ball hit the behind post, I should say, and over she goes for a boundary throw in. So they moved that along quite quickly from end to end, South Croydon, as we have seen them done a couple of times already in this term. But that go out of bounds on the full, did it?
Yeah, it bounced off the behind post, out on the full. So it'll be a Blackburn kick. Macaulay driving up from the mark, couldn't quite take it. Strawn dispossessed, eventually coming through there was Osborne. Fed the hand pass out, a bit of a fend off too as he swings round onto his right foot. Kick towards half forward, but it's all Blackburn.
Switch it.
Yes, and the mark taken deep in defence. Let's see if the Burners can switch it.
So Blackburn currently lead this game by a handy 8 points as the ball goes in towards the middle of the ground. A good strong mark taken by Tui. Swing around on the left boot, kick it in towards the middle, and out there is Clay. Swing back on his right boot. So when it looked like they were going to move the ball in quickly, they've just slowed it down a little bit, Blackburn, as the kick goes up towards the half forward line. Faulkner's there. He was at the back of the pack. He might be clever enough to get the handball away. He was tackled. Fagan came in. The umpire said he cocked one a little bit too high. touch and go that one, but they have been paying them all day. So Fagan, who I think has been fantastic for Blackburn this afternoon.
He has been. He was the only one there, the only player then that wanted the ball. He was the only person that wanted to put his body over the ball, and the umpire rewarded him for it.
Lead comes from Fraser. Lead comes from Hudson. Fraser at the back, nicely knocked away by Thomas Eddy over the boundary line and out of bounds. 20 metres out from the Blackburn goal line as we cross the 26.5-minute mark of this third quarter. 8-point lead to the Blackburn side. They would really love to go in and be able to get another goal on the board here, but it went straight into the arms of Stephen. Clever footballer Stephen just banged it on his boot, gained a very valuable 40 metres or so out towards the half-back line and over the boundary line. It trickles for a boundary throw-in.
The experience of Grattan Stephen there, knew that if he tapped the ball into the corridor there was a mess full of Blackburn players there, but did the smart thing and kicked the ball to the...
Well, he's been a tireless worker all afternoon, Stevens. He contested in the ruck on that occasion, but it went over his head. Coming through there was Myers, affected the kick, taken by Brooker for Blackburn towards half forward, looking for Ralph, but the kick was a little too crude for his intended target, and it's gone out on the full, so it'll be a Bulldog free kick, going the way there of Debney, goes across his defensive goal, finds his teammate in Tom Eddy, who breaks the lines, goes through the corridor, eventually they transfer play. It was a shocking kick, a bad option at the end, and Blackburn turned it over 60 metres from their goal. Kick inside 50, looking there for Fraser. Good sprawl at the back from Eddy. Pouncing on the football there was Myers. He couldn't quite take it. Hand pass spit out by Hatton. Eventually streaming through a snap-on goal for Blackburn towards full forward. Ralph was there. He couldn't quite meet it, and it's dribbled through for a minor score. So the Panthers move on to 10-12-72, leading South Croydon 9-9-63 on the Bendigo Bank scoreboard. 27 minutes gone, third term.
Osborne goes short, spots up teammate Sam Cuthbert, who creates a mini switch out towards the Debney direction. Goes short again, finds Myers. Just underneath the Bendigo Bank scoreboard, might switch the ball back across here to Glenn Strawn, takes the mark, short pass again is on, and now it's with Liam Cox. So Cox goes up towards the big position, he popped the ball up, he made his teammate in Anthony Descent work ever so hard, but he got the handball back to Strawn. Now on the left boot inside forward 50, that is a terrific looking kick, and pulling down an absolute ripper there is the big forward in Daniel Hughes. Him now on the right boot, goes in towards the pocket, coming out there is Eagle, couldn't quite hold the grab over the boundary line. It goes for a boundary throw-in. And speaking of the boundary, let's cross down to Georgina Carl, thanks to Akira Urgent Care.
Still really nice conditions down at ground level, but a bit of a northerly breeze has picked up, so that might start to affect the kicking.
Throw in, deep inside the 50 for South Croydon. King trying to crumb onto the football, couldn't quite take the kick out of the pack. It's a goal. I think it's been converted by King. It was brilliant play with the crumbing from the pack from South Croydon, and they draw within 3 points of Blackburn. The Panthers 10-12-72. South Croydon 10-9-69 Bendigo Bank scoreboard.
That's one against the flow of play there. In the last 5 or so minutes, Blackburn have really held possession of the ball, unable to put one through the big sticks, but South Croydon there, you just get the sense that they're grinding the Panthers down at the moment. They are in and under, positioning well around the contest, and the rewards there.
Hiving him, it looked like he got the goal.
Certainly giving that one to Rob Mallison in the middle of the ground as the siren sounds for three-quarter time, and as it has been throughout the whole afternoon, gentlemen, on this Anzac Day in 2014. A close affair we have before us. 10-12-72 is the Blackburn Football Club. South Croydon a 10-9-69. It's been close all day. Expect nothing less coming here in the fourth quarter. We'll be back in a moment after these messages with all the important other Anzac Day around the grand scores.
What vehicle would you choose for your funeral?
An old 1950s classic, just like me.
I'd love to arrive on the back of a Harley.
Oh, there's only one choice for me, a Mercedes-Benz.
At Tobin Brothers Funerals, we know you love vehicles, so we've assembled a wide choice for you and your family. So if you'd like a 1958 Dodge Hearse, our Fat Boy Harley Davidson hearse, or our unique family funeral coach, just choose one in a fixed price funeral plan. Find out more at tobinbrothers.com.au. Tobin Brothers Funerals, celebrating lives.
Program sponsor.
It can be difficult booking an appointment with your GP when you need medical care urgently. But at Akira Urgent Care, Australia's first walk-in medical and emergency clinic, you don't need an appointment and you don't have to wait. Walk in at 157 Scoresby Road, Baronia, or call us on 9839 3333. That's 9839 3333. Akira Urgent Care will have you off the sidelines in no time. Station sponsor.
For all things EFL, The Huddle.
Good evening, Eastern Football League lovers. One of the punishments is you've got to get a spray tan the Friday night before a game.
Oh, nice.
Wash all the jumpers, and of course he is Glenn Archer, and welcome to the program tonight. G'day, Glenn.
G'day, guys. How you going?
It was up to Dino. He's winning the league there. Now being there.
How much longer we've got to see Stewie Wine going around in the Eastern Football League?
Probably about 1 quarter.
6 p.m. every Wednesday on 98.1 Radio Eastern.
Radio Eastern 98.1. It's 4 after 4. Barry Cott's back in the studio, and we'll return for the final quarter of our Division 1 game this afternoon between Blackburn and South Croydon in just a moment. And of course, the game being played this afternoon, Anzac Day, with traditional Essendon and Collingwood. And after Essendon got away in the first quarter with something like a 6-goal burst, I can tell you at half-time it's all tied up. Yes, it's Collingwood 6-5-41 to Essendon 6-5-41. The goal kickers to half-time for, let's start with Essendon. Danner has 1, Melcham has 1, and Ryder has 1, and Collingwood, the side bottom, has 3. Goldsack 1, and Swan also 1. Major possession getters for the Bombers, Stanton 20 and Pepperell 19, and for Collingwood, Beams 17 and Pendlebury also 17. So there you go. It's all tied up. The big game of the MCG this afternoon. Collingwood and Essendon 6-5-41 apiece. And we're back to the big game in EFL in just a moment.
Good news, boys. It's 20% off to travel on Eastlink on weekends and public holidays with a car tag. So, with the money you'll save, you'll have enough.
Enough for what, Coach?
My birthday present next week, and I have my eye on some sparkly gold footy boots with some pandas on them.
Get a Breeze tag and use Eastlink, the quickest way to get around Melbourne's East. Arrive fresher, play better. Eastlink, it's time better spent.
In sparkly boots.
Program sponsor.
For the best EFL rap on radio, don't miss Akira EFL Sunday from 10 till 12 every Sunday morning on 98.1 Radio Eastern. Ben Warren Smith and the team bring you all the final scores, goal kickers, best players and ladders following a big round of EFL footy. The gang also talk to winning coaches, players and special guests to bring you the final scores from all seniors, reserves and under-19s matches. Akira EFL Sunday, going live and local for your footy from 10 every Sunday on 98.1 Radio Eastern. For all the latest news and information on the Eastern Football League, make sure you check out our website, www.efl.org.au.
EFL Saturday Game Day continues. Let's head back and go local for your footy.
Welcome back to Moreton Park here on EFL Game Day, and what a cracking game. I've said it at every break so far, and it hasn't changed one bit as we head into the final term. Blackburn lead this one 10-12-72, leading South Croydon 10-9-69. What a cracking game so far. Take us through it from a stats point of view, thanks to Choose Tap, Grant Campbell.
Absolutely nothing in the stats so far this game. South Croydon winning most categories but very narrowly. They won the hit-outs 14-10, clearances 14-12, kicks 51-46. The contested ball they won by 1, uncontested ball they won by 1. Both had 12 inside 50s. I think a key stat for last quarter could be marks inside 50. South Croydon won that 4-1. If they replicate that in the last quarter, that could give them the edge and see them over the line, but really nothing in it again.
We said it at quarter time, we said it at half time, and I'm going to say it again at 3/4 time. We can't split these two sides down, Campbell. No, we certainly can't, but one stat that Soupy just read out that really strikes my fancy is the clearances. Early on in this game, South Croydon were getting absolutely slaughtered at the clearances, 11-4 I think it was early in the first quarter, and since it's 14-12 in favour of South Croydon, so they've really managed to pick it up in the midfield there, South Croydon. But one thing that strikes my interest as well is the goal kickers for both sides. Both sides have had a couple of real danger men around the play and leading inside forward 50. Of course, Daniel Hughes for South Croydon has been dangerous every time he's led for the ball, taking marks inside 50. But Heath O'Farrell from Blackburn, 4 seasons at Port Melbourne, he respect, and he's really showing it on the field today. He's positioning himself so well around the contest and been able to snap the goals.
Yeah, fantastic. Who wins from here, Dan?
Well, you mentioned, Dice, that it's really hard to split these two sides. I'm still sticking with Blackburn, but by the barest of margins.
There you go. Dan reckons Blackburn, who currently lead this one by 3 points. Going around the grounds, Montana South seem to have gone to sleep during that second term. They lead by only 10 points now against Upper Ferntree Gully. As across boundary side down to Alice for Akira Urgent Care.
Hi guys, here with the South Croydon coach Damien Franken. Damien, what was your message to the boys at at the break then?
Oh, really, look, we knew we were going to get a contest today, and both teams have been, really stood up. It's really going to come down to who's going to be prepared to put their body on the line and work their asses off to get the win.
So have you been happy with the boys' pressure throughout the game?
Yeah, I've been pretty pleased with their pressure. Unfortunately, we've got one player down in our rotation, which has obviously restricted us a little bit, but the guys are giving it all, and I've got no doubt that they'll come off at the end of this game and work their backsides off.
Thanks for your time.
Thanks very much to Alice with Damien Franken. Thanks to Akira Urgent Care. Fantastic work on debut down on the boundary, Alice. Just going through those progress scores from around the grounds. Glen Waverley Hawks staying with Mitcham, 7-3-45, Mitcham 14-9-93. Probably should get it over the line convincingly. So it seems we picked the match of the day, Dan.
Oh, we certainly did, and we all sounded like geniuses when we tipped Mitcham in that clash. But look, a few of us might be made to look like fools at the end of this game because we don't know which way it's going to go.
Across boundary side once again, thanks to Akira Urgent Care, George.
Yeah, that's right, boys. I've just been in the Blackburn huddle, and Coach Peter Banford really wants the boys to be clean with the ball, run hard, spread around the stoppages, and he really wants his forwards to step up in this last quarter and take some big marks.
Thank you very much, Georgina Cale, down at ground level, thanks to Akira Urgent Care. Just about set for a start of this final term. It's been a relatively seesawing and fluctuating encounter, whatever superlative you want to use. Blackburn currently hold the lead by a very narrow margin of 3 points there, 10-12-72. South Croydon 10-9-69. We're about to get underway now in the final term from Moreton Park. It's Anzac Day footy action, and Stevens wins the tap from the centre, but it's taken away by O'Farrell for Blackburn. Kick towards half forward, a bouncing ball might favour Otten. The hand pass comes out to Tui, chips it inside 50 and finds the intended target there. It's Sam Banfield, who kicked 4 goals last week. He's not immune or shy to the goal-faced BWS, so he's got a chance here from directly in front.
It's a huge kick in the context of this game, even though it is the start of the last.
So Sam Banfield will be lining up from about 40 to 45 metres out. Only a slight angle to speak of. Starts at left. It was a shocking kick in the end, and it goes through for only a minor score. So Blackburn 10-13-73 leads South Croydon 10-9-69. Early going final term on the Bendigo Bank scoreboard.
Where we saw Peter Banfield just before, I think where Blackburn have got the upper hand in this last quarter is South Croydon are one man down on the bench, of course, with Arthurson going off and not taking any further part of the day.
King took it, gave it to Myers, kick up towards the Hughes direction. So they've moved the ball up towards the wing position now, South Croydon. Everybody forward of their forward arc, so the kick goes up towards the Otten direction. He put 1 mid up and was able to pull the mark down. So
had a good game, Maxie Otten.
Yeah, he's had a good game. He's got great skills too as he goes out wide. Kick down there across the half forward line now. Macaulay on the right boot, kicks it inside forward 50, standing strong at the back of the pack there was Thomas Eddy, and he takes a good strong mark at the last line of defence for South Croydon. He's got Daniel King screaming for it short if he wants it. He'll eventually go there. He made the skipper work ever so hard for it, but they've got the switch now, South Croydon. The kick eventually goes out towards the direction there of Strawn. Over the back now, he goes on the left boot, kicks it up towards the half forward line, streaming out there is Eagle, nearly copped one in the back. The umpire said it was fair. Mallison's there as well. He taps it over his shoulder, and a boundary throw in is the result with Chris Clay right on his hammer.
I thought he was a bit unlucky there, Dan. I reckon there was a free kick in that.
Oh, there certainly was.
So 50 metres out from the South Croydon goal line. Umpire throws the ball back in, charging through there was Tui to lay a tackle. It was a good one too on Nick Molnar, and we'll have a bounce. 55 metres out, 45 degree angle. Umpire quick to restart it. Ralph got the knockdown. It was a handy one, but guess who? Daniel King came charging through the pack. back, got a little handball out wide. Pye said play on. There's a good tackle really being laid there on Anthony Simpson, who eventually just sits on it. Very stiff, not to probably get pinged there as we cross down boundary side, thanks to Akira urgent care to George.
Guys, Michael Loco's just come off clenching his left hammy, not looking too good for him.
So the umpire starts it once more. Molnar tried to get boot to ball, charging through. There was Donnell, got a little skew kick out towards the Osborne direction, drifted down from the back line, and he's going to have a shot on goal. Ben Osborne, he'll kick from just outside the 50, and I really think he can kick this, although he's not looking too confident in the early stages of his approach, but he'll go back now and settle and have a shot on goal to give the South Croydon side the lead once again. They currently trail by 4 points. Ben Osborne on the left. Well, he can kick that far when he kicks in. He surely can kick a goal, but he pushes it to the left-hand side. You heard the screams from the Blackburn faithful cheer that one through for a minor score. And on the Bendigo Bank scoreboard, it is South Croydon moving on to 10-10-70, trailing Blackburn 10-13-74.
Another let off there for Blackburn.
Huge. Bum bringing the ball back into play for the Panthers. He chips it short and finds Tyler Faulkner deep in the back pocket. He'll kick across his defensive goal. It's a risky ball, but it pays off. Finds the intended target there in Curtis, who's been very good in this second half. Kick short, didn't quite find the target. It was a bit too high for Aaron Hatton, and as a consequence, it's spoiled over the line, and we'll have a throw in 60 metres around from the South Croydon goal.
I think they were trying to be a little bit cheeky there. Hatton coming in on the ground, but a great spoil that was.
Ball back into play. Stevens won the tap, forced to ground level. A gang tackle is applied on Tui, and we'll have yet another stoppage. So a bit of a lacklustre start in a way to this final term, but I'm sure it'll heat up very shortly. Stevens wins the tap. Matthews, brilliant take off the half volley. Eventually it's taken by Tui, who is claimed. Molnar got the hand pass out for South Croydon. Hard up against the line there is Clay, and he's forced over the line again. A throw in 70 out for the Dogs goal.
He's been mentioned a few times today, but Nick Molnar's had a very good game too for South Croydon.
Ball once again back into play. Stevens won the tap. Eventually it comes to ground level, and Clay will spear it along centre wing. The kick intended there for Hammond, but it's spoiled over the line right on centre wing.
Brash, I think Kyle Matthews looks a bit frustrated out there. He hasn't had a good day, and he certainly needs to lift in this last quarter to get his side over the line.
Pye throws the ball back in now. Stevens, who's had a fantastic game, got it down, but only in the arms of Fagan. He goes backwards to go forwards. Ward got the handball out. Sorry, that was Tui that time, and now Daniel King gets his handball off. South Croydon go inside forward 50 or thereabouts. Bouncing football. Blackburn at the last line of defence, picked up there by McCauley. Put his teammate under a lot of pressure there in Faulkner. He was grabbed down. A kick on goalwood there by the player in Glenn Strawn. Over goal square. Oh, it's a terrific guy being marked by the big man in Jason Eagle. Fantastic grab that was, and he'll go back to put through his second of the afternoon. No, in fact, make that his third. Swings around, he played on. All the umpires giving him he's giving him a let off here. So
that was a lovely kick by Glenn Strawn there. He kicked the ball and set it up beautifully for Jason Eagle just to outmanoeuvre his opponent under the ball to take control of that mark.
And one-on-one, you've backed Jason Eagle all the time.
Yep.
And the crowd certainly didn't enjoy the umpire's decision on that one.
Oh, they never enjoy it down here.
As he swung around on his left boot to slam that one through, but didn't go over the man on the mark. So we're just waiting for the ball to come back to him now. And
go you left footer. I love him.
He'll have to go. He'll probably go for the same type of kick again. Only this time he hopes the ball can go straight through the middle, and this time it does just that. That's his third goal on the board, and it is now a 3-point lead to the South Croydon Football Club. Bendigo Bank scoreboard as we cross the 6.5-minute mark shows 11 goals, 10-76 the Doggies, 10-13, 73.
We are still none the wiser, Dan Campbell, about who's going to win this game.
That's right, certainly you're right. But one thing that's really caught my eye is Josh Ralph has gone on to Eagle, of course, with Locko going off with his supposed hamstring injury. But whoever's played on Eagle today has looked out of sorts.
So Jason Eagle's third major gives the Dogs wresting control of the lead. However, it could be momentary, judging by the way the game of this calibre has been played, because it's changed so often this afternoon. As the ruck contest ensues, Curtis won the tap. Chance for Blackburn to move it forward, but it's hacked out of the pack by a Doggy towards half forward. But going back with the flight there was taken by Gearlings, and he can retrieve the ball for the Blackburn Footy Club. Hands it off to Ralph. Spearing ball towards centre wing. It's met at full pace by Stevens. Chips it towards centre wing, and again the Dogs can slow it up and orchestrate an attack. Chip ball inboard to David King. King looks again through the corridor. They eventually work it out. Osborne gave it to Myers, who spins it inside 50 and finds Jason Eagle yet again on the lead. He can go back for his fourth major.
The ebbs and flows still continue here, Dan. Eagle on the lead. Right, he's starting to come into his own here.
Oh, he certainly is.
Jason Eagle will be lining up from just inside the 50-metre arc here at Morton Park. A deliberate approach. It's a high ball. It's also a straight ball. And South Croydon now have a 9-point buffer. A fantastic effort from Jason Eagle, his fourth for the game, and that moves the Dogs on to 12-10-82, leading Blackburn 10-13-73 on the Bendigo Bank scoreboard. Let's head to Grant Campbell for some Choose Tap match stats.
Inside 50s this quarter, 4-2 in favour of South Croydon. Clearances 4-2 in favour of Blackburn, and South Croydon still applying good pressure all day. They lead the effective tackle count 5-2.
Here's where the Doggies really threaten to break this game open. The next goal there, and they're on their way to victory.
So Blackburn with the clearance once again. They move it forward as it's hacked out of the centre towards centre wing. Diving after the football there was Faulkner. He's claimed, and it will be another boundary throw-in. In fact, it was Hammond. So it'll be a throw-in 70 metres around from the Blackburn goal.
When we were doing pre-game, Dan, we said this is an 8-point game. This is the way it's turning out to be.
No doubt about it.
Ball back into play. Stevens won the tap, forces it to the boundary line. Fagan is well claimed and tackled over the line, and will have yet another throw-in.
Three-quarter time score out at Kings Park, Upper Ferntree Gully, taking on Montana South today. And it is the Devils leading it by 10 points at three-quarter time, and Collingwood leading Essendon by 1 point, 10 minutes into the third term.
Back into play. Stevens, a fresh air shot out of the run contest. Blackburn work it forward into the path there of Hammond. Brilliant receiving by Matthews. Matthews shoots for goal. Bang! He's got it. That's a way to get them into the game. And Kyle Matthews slots his first major for the afternoon. Blackburn whittle back the deficit once again. They move on to 11-13-79. And South Croydon at 12-10-82. Let's cross boundary side thanks to Akira Urgent Care.
At three-quarter time, boys, Peter Banfield pulled Kyle Matthews to the side and really had a good word to him. He really wanted him to step up going into the last term, and it looks like he's doing well so far.
Well, I said that a few minutes ago, that Kyle Matthews has got to lift if Blackburn are to win this game, and he's just done that.
High throws the ball back up now. No clear knockout. It comes out towards the Doggy direction here. As a stream of handball sees them up towards the half-forward line, picked up there by Clay. Got the little handball out to Galings on the left boot. Goes out towards the Max Otten direction. Right on his hammer out there is Marshall. Keeps the ball in. The umpire said, no, you didn't, as the kick went on towards the Hughes direction. And we'll have a boundary throw-in about 55 metres out from the South Croydon goal line.
Brash, we've got to remember that the Doggies are doing all this with one man down on the bench too.
Yeah, it's a sterling effort at this stage.
Higher throws it in. Stevens knocks it over the back. It was nicely knocked on there by Galings, who needed the advantage to go with his side, and it did so now. Paul Bunn, the crowd screams for him to kick the ball, so he does so up towards centre half forward, but no one's home. Doggies are going to have another chance to reload. David King's just over the top if they want to go in that direction. Risky kick. Matthews pulls down a nice looking one-hander there. Mitcham lead it by 10 goals at three-quarter time against the Glen Waverley Hawks as the kick goes up towards the Eagle direction. Hasn't he come to life? Little handball off, and the kick in towards Mallison. Couldn't quite pull it down. Right on his hammer down there was Clay. Now Blackburn get another chance. Here he goes, Matthews up towards the half-forward line. It was a good-looking kick. It was an even better spoil away there by Eddie. The ball's still alive down there. South Croydon, can they keep it? Can they rush it behind? They'll receive a free kick. They will in Anthony Descent, and he'll be able to give a reprieve there for the Doggies as they switch the ball across the half-back line.
Both sides are now going for broke here. They know what's on the line.
They certainly are. There is a lot on the line in terms of Division 1 footy. The context of the game. It's Anzac Day. Who will lift? South Croydon move it through the corridor. Holden was caught off. Nice attack by Eagle. Sets up Stephen. Swings round onto the right foot, and it bounces into the post. One behind. And South Croydon probably will rue that missed opportunity. 4 points the margin now. The Dogs 12-84, I believe. No, 12-11-83, leading Blackburn 11-13-79. That scoreboard's confusing.
That was rotten luck there by the Dogs. They deserve better there.
Faulkner, the short pass is on. Tyler Curtis takes it in the back pocket. Handball over the top. That's okay for Blackburn. This is Bunn. His handball is an absolute terrible one too. stolen by the Doggies, kick to the top of the goal square, but nobody is home. The mark has been taken down there by Ralph. There was a kick on goal by Mellison. He goes over the top there to Gaylings, paddled it to his advantage. In comes Max Houghton, shrugged one tackle, got the handball away, but once again Osborne gets a little handball out. This is good play by Hughes, gets it across there to his teammate in Cuthbert. Handball onside. I was running on there with Stevens, couldn't quite get it. The umpire said holding. The ball is the result, and the free kick will go to O'Farrell across the half-back line there. For Blackburn's kicked 3 goals this afternoon, and that's probably where he needs to stay too, up on the forward line, because that kick out of defence was an absolute shank. The kick up by Eddie comes out towards the Grattan Stevens direction, wearing the 3/4 sleeves as always, asking for players to present themselves. The short kick goes on to King into the middle of the ground, so just inside the centre square. Fast-paced last quarter of football this is. Higher.
What's happening here?
Downfield free kick. In fact, it's going against, I believe, in Daniel Hughes on Otten, so it'll be a turnover free kick in the middle of the ground to Blackburn. So that also is a big turnover, you would say, as Banfield now has the ball for Blackburn. Players have just come on in out wide. There it is, Brooker. It's been good when he's had it today, Brooker. Short passes on Ben Fraser, long way out from goal.
He's not going to hurt you on the wing there.
Fraser looking for targets up forward.
They are indeed. Fraser, a long ball towards the pocket, not much home, and Stevens comes in.
That was a gutsy mark.
It was a brilliant mark going back with the flight of the footy, took the mark, and will go back and try and relieve the tension here for the Bulldogs.
I think he's been very close to best on ground today.
Sticks has played really well.
Stevens chipping the ball short to David King, his compatriot in the 3/4 sleeves. King towards centre wing, looking there and finding James Crowell, the tall timber, producing magic here for South Croydon. He wheels round onto the right foot, looking for Eagle at centre half forward. Couldn't quite take the mark. Coming through is Matthews, the little terrier, gives it away to O'Farrell. Now Fagan on the move through the centre to Blackburn go, and a brilliant mark, brilliant kick, and spot up taken there by Sam Hudson. He can go back and have a shot from directly in front, just beyond the arc.
He is a goal kicker, Sam Hudson, so expect him to put this one through.
So Sam Hudson has been a valuable contributor this afternoon for Blackburn.
Listen to the crowd if he puts this one through.
Absolutely. This to regain the lead for Blackburn. Puts it long into it, right foot, wheeling around, not quite there on that occasion, however, and only a minus score. So Blackburn 11-14-80 trails South Croydon 12-11-83 in a tight contest on the Bendigo Bank scoreboard.
Hope you're enjoying the broadcast today on 98.1 Radio Eastern and streaming live through the EFL website, efl.org.au. It is Mitcham leading the Glen Waverley Hawks, and it is also Juan Turner leading Upper Ferntree Gully around the east today as South Croydon try to make their way across that half-back line, but never say die attitude of Blackburn, as it has been all afternoon, and just holding that ball in. The little handball comes out towards Fagan to Matthews, back to Fagan. He needs to swing around on the right boot. He needs to be clever. The kick needs to be good, and it is just that. Mark to Blackburn about 30 metres out from goal from Sam Banfield, and he'll go back to reduce this margin to a winning margin of 3 points.
They've been clever, Blackburn, in this last quarter with how they've been able to set up inside 50 crowd space and take marks.
So Banfield, last 2 shots on goal, Blackburn. This one's got to go through the big sticks. This one does go through the behinds. It faded late, didn't it? So another behind, another minor score to the Blackburn Football Club. 11-15-81, plays 12 goals, 11-83. So a 2-point ball game out here at Moreton Park.
The game's here for the taking. It just depends on who wants it the most.
And who can judge with the pressure. On that occasion for South Croydon, because Tui chipped in to take the shanking kick out. They can go back and have yet another shot on goal for the Blackburn.
He can thump it too.
Footy club, yes, he can.
Grant Campbell, thanks to Tuesday.
Blackburn so far, 3 set shots, 3 behind. See if they can do any better here.
Oh yes, a chance to reduce the amount of blemishes here. The kick from Tui is, and absolute ripper, but he didn't have the accuracy. So another behind on the board for Blackburn. They're now 1 point in arrears. 11-16-82, trailing South Croydon 12-11-83. Bendigo Bank scoreboard. We're 16 and a half minutes in.
Osborne goes short to King. The umpire said it was too short, so play on King eventually gets it back. They're mucking around with it. The doggies in the back pocket. The short passes on. Tui got a good knock on over the back half forward line now for Blackburn. They have the numbers. They might go backwards to go forwards here. Hugging the boundary line. The pressure is on, and eventually it will go over or near abouts. Umpire says it's still play on. Eventually will come in and bounce at 60 metres out from the back Blackburn goal line.
I would say that last shot on goal was a bit of a let-off for the doggies, but the doggies have missed a few opportunities themselves too.
You're right there.
High throws it up. Otten got the big knockdown there, but to no avail as a kick goes up towards the half-forward line. Here's Chris Donnell, takes the mark just inside the 50 now, and that is the way to play it. It was an open arc, and he positions himself fantastically there, Donnell. And he'll go back and fool the umpire a little bit here too, because he's only taken the mark just inside the arc, but managed to gain probably another 5 or 6 metres. And turning, hopefully for everybody at South Croydon Football Club's hopes is go through and put through a goal for a 7-point lead, because this is a very close game. We've crossed 17, or no, almost 18-minute mark of this final term. So Chris Donnell comes in from about 48 metres, kicks on goal, and he has pushed this one to the left-hand side. So it is minor scores are plenty out here at Moreton Park. Nobody wants to get a stranglehold of this lead. It's been a close game all afternoon, and we're really excited what the next 10 minutes can bring.
Oh, absolutely. I'll tell you what, the tension, you can cut the air with a knife here at Moreton Park, boys.
No doubt about it. And Brash, we're none the wiser once again after another shot of goal.
No.
So Blackburn to relieve the pressure once again from defence. Bung giving it to Ralph, deep in the back pocket here for the Panthers. Goes along the big try by Banfield, couldn't quite hold the mark. Matthews cuts through to Crum and forces it out of play.
Nearly caught one high too.
Did, so it'll be a throw in 70 metres around for the South Croydon goal. The doggies lead by a bare margin of 2 points. So approaching time on in this final term. Stevens wins the tap out, but Blackburn have the clubbers through Fagan. Got the hand pass out. Eventually comes to Otten, and Matthews hacks it towards half-forward. Through the legs of Descent. This could be costly. A bit of a fumble there from Hammond. He's taken the ground by a couple of dogs, and the gang tackle proves effective, because we'll have a stoppage 55 metres out.
Well, the dogs will be breathing a sigh of relief there after the clean bowled ball there.
Tap one for Blackburn by Curtis. Eventually they force it through. Snap a goal from Fagan. It's swinging across the face. And only a minor score. So Blackburn edge that little bit closer. They're 11-17-83, trailing South Croydon 12-12-84 on the Bendigo Bank scoreboard. We're reaching the 20-minute mark of this final term.
You'd almost think two goals to either side's going to win this game.
No doubt about it.
It hasn't gone that way all afternoon, has it, Grant Campbell? No. Thanks to Choose Tap Match Stats.
Yes, inside 50s now 8-7 this quarter. Blackburn clearances, not much in it, just 7-5 their way.
What would a draw do? Do I dare say the D word?
No.
Well, it's certainly thereabouts, especially with the amount of points that's been kicked by both sides in this last 5 minutes of football, as the kick from Osborne goes to the Myers direction, but getting up is Curtis, and he takes a strong mark, the big man, about 55 metres out from goal. Now, he can certainly get behind the football if he puts his whole leg into it, and I think he might go back and have a ping from here.
I reckon one of the things that we were talking about, that neither side wanted to own the corridor. Now I can see why, because neither side have had any sort of focal point leading out into that centre-half forward, centre-half back region.
So Curtis has been playing forward and in the ruck and around the ground all afternoon. This is one of the biggest kicks that you will see. Comes in from 55 metres out. He set sail for goal, but he pushed it from the get-go, and to the right-hand side it goes, and scores are level out here at Moreton Park on Anzac Day. A round 3 special we have on for you at 98.1 Radio Eastern. It is 11-18-64 playing 12-12-84, I should say, both sides. Grant Campbell, thanks to Choose Tap.
Blackburn, no goals 5 from set shots. If they lose, they'll regret that immensely.
So Molnar to clear it from defence for South Croydon. Eventually ends up with Daniel King. His spearing ball was ill-directed to centre wing, and chipping in to take the mark is Clay for Blackburn. So the turnover, another one effective. Now South Croydon on the rebound. Pass from King, missed the target. A fumble from Ferraccio. eventually gives it back to David King. Evades a couple of tacklers. His kick is a poor one. Intercepted by Curtis. Swings round onto the left. Good kick. Really kick outside. And the mark taken. They can hold it up here, the Blackburn Footy Club. And they can slow it down and regain composure. Hammond into the forward pocket, finds the target in the end, and a brilliant outstretched mark has been taken on the outer side of the ground. He can go back and have a shot to put Blackburn in front.
How many passages of play today have we seen where Tyler Curtis has been so involved and had a presence all around the ground? And this is a credit to him.
So this to put Blackburn in front. Ben Fraser on the end of that pass. He's had little impact on the game this afternoon. He's kicked just the one major. Can he write himself into the folklore of this game by kicking his second? He did put Blackburn in front, but only by a point. So the Birders lead it by a solitary point. They're now leading 85 to 84 on the Bendigo Bank scoreboard.
Close game.
Ripper game.
Strawn, wasting no time, will go towards the Stevens direction. He has to stand tall. The fall of the ball hadn't got the little knockdown. Here's Otten, gets a handball away. Swinging now on the right boot there is Bunn. Kicks it up towards the half-forward line. Bouncing football. It needs to stay alive. It just does that now. Here's Banfield on the left. Skew-if kick up towards the half-forward line. Bouncing football. Sees it over the boundary line and out of bounds. We'll have a boundary throw. 23 minutes gone. It is the Blackburn Football Club leading this one by 1 point. 11-19-85, plays 12-12-84 as Stevens over the back of the pack, got the knockdown once again. There is a massive pack around this football. Comes out now to Simpson, who'll swing around on the right boot, got dispossessed of the football. Neil got a fresh air handball, but it might end fortuitous now for the South Croydon Football Club. Streaming across the half back line there is Faulkner though for the Burners, got it to Fagan in the middle of the ground there away, and the mark has been taken there by Tyler Curtis. Swings around on the right boot, kicks it deep inside forward 50. Who's going to stand up? Who's going to be strong? At the fall of the ball there was Strong, couldn't quite trap the ball. Now the Doggies again are going to get another go through the middle of the ground. Who wants this football? I'll tell you what, this is a hot footy across the half forward line. It goes now. Here's Donnell on the left boot. He could bring the house down with this one, and he's absolutely shattered. He couldn't even level the scores. Out of bounds on the ball that was by Robbie Mallison, and Blackburn they'll breathe a sigh of relief. They'll go short. The kick finds the arms of play. They might go down the middle here. That was an absolute shocker of a handball, but they get another chance here. Gets it across to Maxi Otten. He goes backwards to go forwards. They're mucking around with it. Fagan, he completely coughed it up, but he coughed it back up to himself, and now he can switch the ball out wide, and now McFarlane's away.
Finds O'Farrell on the outer wing. Can Blackburn score effectively from this 4A4? The mark taken by Fraser. Swings round onto the right. Taken inside.
Oh, there's a 25.
No, he's not going to give it, is he?
No 25-metre penalty there.
I'll tell you what, that is as close to 25 as you will ever see.
On the end of it, I believe, is Jake Hammond on the outer side. He's suffering cramp.
3 minutes to go here, fellas. It's still up for grabs.
Absolutely. Let's head to Grant Campbell for some Tuesday match stats.
Marks inside 50 in this final quarter, 7-3 in favour of Blackburn.
So Hammond can put Blackburn 7 points in front and give almost effectively a 2-goal buffer for his side. Late in this game, we've crossed the 25-minute mark. Jake Hammond from 45 metres. The Blackburn faithful rise to their feet because he's kicked the goal, and the Panthers lead it by 7 points on the Bendigo Bank scoreboard. Blackburn 12-19-91, leading South Croydon 12-12-84. They're in raptures, the home crowd.
Well, we can't say that the fat lady sung yet, DC, because we just still don't know. It's 7 points, 2 minutes to go.
No, you certainly can't. This game has just teased us all day with one side threatening to take control, but Blackburn have done that in the last 5 or so minutes, possessing the footy around the ground, and Hammond with 3 goals has been influential.
Ben Fraser has dropped back as the spare man in defence for Blackburn as they hold this over 1-goal lead, but here's Myers now for the Doggies up towards the half-forward line. He's looking for Crowell. He's been relatively quiet today. He needs to brack the Fraser tag. He eventually did, but Blackburn, they've got the numbers. Umpires come in and paid a free kick, though, to go the way of South Croydon.
It's not over yet.
So Mallison 55 metres out from goal. It's a good looking kick off the boot distance wise, but he's pushed it and he's got it back to within that 1-goal mark. margin though. Minor score is the result.
I tell you, one bloke who's been enormous in this last quarter is Tyler Curtis. Absolutely amazing last quarter.
12-13, 85, plays a 12-19, 91 I should say. It's a close game as Otten gets it in the back pocket. Scrambling kick out towards the half back line. It's got to bounce favourably. McFarlane was in there for the Burners. Over everybody's head now off the ground. The ball surges in towards the middle. Debney picked it up. They need to be clean with their disposal here. Molnar got wrapped up in a tackle. That's a game-saving tackle. An absolute ripper of a tackle in the middle of the ground out here, and we're going to have a bounce centre of the ground.
Brilliant tackle there by Fagan.
He's had a good game too.
He's been good.
Curved to 4A4 for South Croydon. Stevens won the tap, but it's taken by Brooker, who hacks it to centre half forward. Chance for Blackburn to put the seal on the deal. Breaking through there is Hammond. Got a hand pass out. It was a hospital one. Chance for Matthews. Trying to break clear. There's a pack of doggies there to run him down, and
high tackle.
Oh gee, it's a high tackle. It's going Blackburn's way.
Tell you what, the doggies were off then too. They had players all by themselves out on the far side.
So a free kick, and it looks as if the recipient will be Kyle Matthews.
Holding the jumper, seen by Soupy.
Well,
I didn't see that as it should be a free kick. That's what the umpire paid.
Well, it was almost a 4-on-1 that contest, but the one won out with the free kick.
And Kyle Matthews has a chance now to be the hero.
Yes, he's only registered the one goal this afternoon. This for his second.
Last quarter's been huge.
Yep, to give Blackburn a 2-goal buffer at the 28-minute mark from 40 metres. The kick on the way. It's stuck home. And the Blackburn people rise to their feet. Kyle Matthews has put his side 2 goals in front. They lead 13-19-97 to South Croydon 12-13-85. 28 minutes gone on the Bendigo Bank scoreboard.
They had to do it the hard way, DC, but in the end, just the experience has just shown through for Blackburn.
Now, free kick out of the centre here, BWS.
It's going to go to Blackburn, Tyler Curtis. They'll just really slow things down, you would expect. Oh, he's got a big left foot kick on him, so he may as well just thump it towards the Hammond direction. Bouncing football. Matthews is down there again. It's still at the top of the goal square. It's a siren goes. Blackburn are victors this afternoon. That goal will not be paid. Kicked on the goal line. Final scores out here at Moreton Park. It is an 8-point victory. In fact, it's a 12-point victory, I should say, to the Blackburn Football Club. There's still a bit of commotion going on down in the forward line. Let's cross down boundary side thanks to Akira Urgent Care, Georgina Carl.
I've got a very relieved Blackburn coach with me. Paul, we've got to be happy to get the win today.
Yeah, it's fine. I mean, it was a tough game. It was always going to be a tough game, but I think what did we kick in the last quarter? 2 goals 8, something like 2-7. So to win, I don't think we played that well today. And full credit to South Croydon for the way they played. It was a gutsy game, went right to the wire. So yeah, very lucky.
Were you a bit worried in that final term?
Oh yeah, absolutely. Yeah, no, really lucky. Really lucky. I mean, they're a good side. So we got across the line. So well done, mate. Thanks, mate.
And which players impressed you today?
Oh, look, I thought Heath Farrell was outstanding. Jake Hammond played really well up forward. Sammy Mack, even though Hughes, I don't know how Hughes kicked at the end, but he's a good player. I thought Sammy Mack down back played really, really well. So, no, good effort. We moved to win. 13-19 probably says it all. We almost cost the game, so we didn't kick goals, but just so relieved to get the win.
Thanks for your time, Peter. Go and enjoy the song.
Great stuff for Georgina Carl, speaking with the senior coach of the Blackburn Football Club, Peter Banfield, and he's a very happy man after a big game for the football club today. A team that have they're a young group who have struggled on the big stage in the last season or two, and today they're answering all challenges and really getting everybody in Division 1 brash a chance to stand up and take notice of this side, because South Croydon by no ends meter are a very good side themselves. Played finals last year in a tough tussle, and these are games that can certainly build confidence for a football club.
Yeah, when we talked to the coaches at the start of the game, both of them said that there's probably 6 sides in it for the final 2 spots.